What's happening in San Diego? Great Friday morning to you. It's your midday hang, Annie and Elsten, ready to usher you into the sports weekend that will be and usher out the month of February. We're all together in our Odyssey studios overlooking Murphy Canyon. Annie Heilbrunn is here. My name's Craig Elsten, joined as always by Braden Suprenant for 4 hours of live, local San Diego sports audio entertainment, handing it off to a mini Gwen and Chris, and then Padres baseball tonight at 5:30. The closest thing we've seen to the real lineup tonight as the Padres host the hated Mariners. What's going on, Annie?
Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Yeah, that'll be a fun one tonight. At least a little bit of a night game. Night games are always have a little more, pizzazz to them. A little more oomph, right? Still a Cactus League game, but a little more oomph to it.
Plus, it's the Vetter Cup, so
yeah.
Yes,
I'm sure they're going to be
soaked. They can have their more starters in the lineup, so be fun.
This is where the rivalry really cooks, is in the spring training games that don't matter. That's when you really, everything starts to happen. The hard hits happen, and then that builds up the animosity so that we drop the gloves in the regular season in the Vetter Cup.
And you got to teach the young guys in the minor leaguers how important this rivalry is.
Definitely.
Because everybody knows about the hype around the Dodgers and the Giants and the other members of the NL West, but really you need to show the passion to the young players that have not played against the Mariners yet, how important that is for the Vetter Cup.
That's right. You got to throw Ethan Salas into the mix here.
Yeah. You got to throw him to the fire.
You got to get Leo DeVries involved tonight. Let him know what it means.
Know what it means to be a San Diego Padre versus a Seattle Mariner. It's a different level.
Do we, kid? We kid. What do we?
I don't know. I don't think somebody in El Cajon's kidding.
I want that
the
trophy.
OGs aren't kidding.
No, I want that trophy. The one that we've never seen, the one that goes from the back hall of an office to a different back hall of an office.
Yes.
I want that Vetter Cup.
That's at the top of the priority list, followed by the Cactus League title.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, Cactus League title. I mean, it goes without saying.
You can't win the Cactus League title without winning the Vetter Cup.
Pretty true. I mean, technically not impossible to go the other way, but I think so.
It's not the same. When you host the Cactus League trophy and they're hosting the Vetter Cup, your little tear rolls down your face because that's the one that everybody really wanted.
Right. That's
the one that matters the most.
Priorities.
That one hits the
soul
a little bit tighter. As you're plugging
in your new TV.
Yes.
You're wondering.
And then you flip it on, and the first thing that's on there is the Mariners win Vetter Cup, and then it's heartbreak. Because that's what you really wanted.
Well, fantasy world aside, I think we got a good show lined up here today, Annie, as we get ready for tonight's game.
How long are we staying here?
I'm already thinking about tonight's game.
Guys, see, he's locked in on the Vetter Cup. He's going to stay here all day.
The pre game show is underway.
Nobody's staying in the building longer than Craig Elsten today on Vetter Cup Day.
We've got chicken baskets ordered at 4.
That's right. Eat your chicken basket.
Getting locked in.
Lock the blank in.
No, we got first thing here in show setup says Padres night action. And I just looked at that and,
it's where you were.
That's where I was. Night action against the Mariners, 97.3 FM, 530 coverage, 540 first pitch. Poor guys on Ben and Woods probably, clambered into the car right now and going, why didn't we go Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday?
I get that argument, but they got so many people. They got more people than they covered enough for 3 days. The PR staff or whoever was bringing them back out, they did so many interviews the first day that would have covered actually 2 days. So I don't really think that I think actually probably today was like a nice cash day, a nice casual day.
Just chill out on the patio.
Yeah,
casual Friday
show.
Casual Friday, exactly.
It can be chilly.
Yeah, did a really nice job out there all week, and got a ton of people that were, I guess, brought through. So I feel like they hit their quota.
No, they definitely got everybody. They did. But
I don't even know who's left to get.
There was Toddy, but apparently
he's not gonna. Yeah, it's a night. I mean, even if it wasn't a night game, he's coming off the flu.
He's coming off the flu. He's got a reason to say no. He'll not be there. No. Well, here's the thing. You're absolutely right. They had so many people that there were interviews they did that we never got the chance to air.
Right.
So coming up in the 11 a.m. Padres Deep Dive Hour, we will bring you both the one that they shared with Nick Pivetta early in the morning, as well as Manny. We never got to hear Manny yesterday.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Manny had a nice interview. Yeah.
So we'll check out what Manny had to say. Hear from the captain. That'll be coming up in the deep dive hour at 11:30. 11:15 and 11:30 specifically for those two interviews, and we'll bring you all the rest of the spring news that exists, which really, is just yesterday's game, to be honest with you, until the team shows up and something else happens. But we can take a look at what's just going on around spring training overall as well. In the 11 a.m. hour of the show, coming up at 12, we've got the 12 o'clock Sports Fix, of course, weekend preview edition, SDFC home match, going to be taking place a little over 24 hours. Well, 24 hours, 7:30 on Saturday night is when things will kick off at Snapdragon Stadium. But all the other local teams are in action. Gulls have a 7-game winning streak. Sockers are going out on the road. We'll get through it all coming up in the 12 o'clock Sports Fix. We'll play Mind the Gap today. That's today's silly game. It's the last one for this particular round of drawing, which is the Motley Crue tickets and the chance to go stay at Park MGM. So if you are a Motley Crue fan, you should be boning up on your multi-generational trivia. Don't know exactly how you would do that in the couple hours that you have, but whatever you want to do to try and practice, feel free, because we'll be playing that game coming up at 12:45. And then the 1 o'clock hour is completely locked in. We'll start things off with our SDFC preview for the day. We'll be joined by Sal Zizzo, who previously joined us for an MLS 101 segment, played in MLS for multiple years, won a Supporters Shield in New York, won MLS Cup, was part of an MLS Cup team at Atlanta United in 2018, went on at the tail end of his career to be the captain of San Diego Loyal when they played in USL Championship for those 4 glorious years. We will chat to Sal Zizzo coming up at 1 o'clock and get his thoughts on where top line soccer exists now in San Diego, coming off a road result at Galaxy, coming home, creating an MLS atmosphere here in San Diego. We'll go to all of Sal's thoughts, do a match preview with him. Then at 1:20, Media Melanie will be along, her weekly offering and recommendation of something in the streaming television universe. I'll have something along the way as well. We'll do that. We'll wrap up with Ask Us Anything. So looking forward to it. Later this hour, once I looked into it, I'm really excited for this, Annie. Julius Juju Ballo is going to make his pro boxing debut. He's a featherweight. I need to know how many pounds he weighs, because it's got to be like 103 or something.
Yeah, he doesn't. When you look at pictures of him, you're like, wait, what? Boxing? And then you realize, he's featherweight.
He is tiny, but can kick your butt.
Yes, very proficient behind those 103 pounds.
So we'll find out. Yeah, I don't know if it's 103.
No, I don't either.
I don't know. He's.
I don't think it's 103, but it's also not like 180.
Well, it's definitely not that. Anyways, we'll meet Juju. And hopefully give him some good juju for his upcoming pro boxing debut, which is going to take place at Saquon coming up in less than a month on March 22nd. So all of that is still to come, and we're going to get into in next segment all of the college basketball that is to come, including UCSD getting it done last night, taking care of business. Shutting down another team's 7-game winning streak in order to earn a 10-game winning streak of their own. UCSD is doing great. Great news for the Aztecs yesterday, with Miles Bird locking in essentially for next year, unless I get the siren song of the NBA to be strong enough that I'm going to be a top 30 player. So that's really exciting. We'll get into the entire college basketball scene as well. So good show. Everything is lined up today.
Less than 11 hours to March.
And then...
I can't believe it's March tomorrow.
March! It's so true. It's March.
It'd be nice to have 2 teams in the NCAA tournament.
Oh, yeah. How fun for San Diego.
It's coming.
If that it seems like it is, right?
It's coming.
What a great environment March should be here.
March.
I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to
happen too. I think it's going to be very, very cool.
Yeah. Even Irvine's moved up in the bubble. So That's a good sign for UCSD and UC Irvine. Hopefully that game in Henderson is both teams are in the tournament by that time.
Right.
So you don't have to worry about UCSD dropping one at the end.
Yeah, you're playing to get out of Dayton instead of playing to get
Right.
in. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. I want to see it happen, but we'll talk a lot more college basketball coming up in like literally a few minutes from now, right after the break. Everything is lined up for you. Fun Friday. Great work by Ben and Woods. Great work, Padres, lining them up with everybody. Basically, some of those interviews you missed, we'll send a few of them along your way as we continue on forward on this Friday sojourn. We'll take our first break and come right back and get into everything that's going on in college hoops next. It's Andy and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 10:17 on the Fan. It's the Annie and Elsten show. Gorgeous Friday. It's been super warm and nice. I know that it's supposed to cool off a little bit as the weekend continues.
Maybe a little rain next week.
That's what I heard. And then, we asked on the Red Greg what's going on, and he gave us the latest.
Yeah, he's on it.
Well, Megan's on it.
Yes, his wife.
Yeah, Megan's on it.
Who is a
Greg just regurgitates the information.
A weathercaster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
The most accurate is
yes.
Channel 10
is what I heard. Yeah, exactly. A Ben Higgins teammate.
Yes.
That's because she's from North County, aka Ballet.
Well, we appreciate the inside information.
There.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was really worried about Sunday in terms of potentially golfing, but now I'm hearing it should be okay, and it's Monday that is more of the potential rain. Regardless, what do you guys got going this weekend?
I got USD baseball weekend.
Far. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
USD baseball Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Show on Sunday. Yeah.
Who do the Toreros have?
They got Bakersfield.
They've run out of schools that you went to.
That's right.
So.
I definitely didn't go anywhere near Bakersfield. I'll tell you that. I guess Grossmont College was booked this weekend.
I've got like a girls' night on Saturday night, but I know I want to catch the SDFC game, so gonna make sure to
girls' night at the SDFC game.
No, it's not at because this was planned a ways back, but it's a birthday and all that stuff for one of our friends. I think they archive them on. I think yeah. And I'll probably be able to catch some of the games
after she watched Glen,
and then I'll come back and watch it. Right,
put it right at the top.
No, I can't wait to. I honestly can't wait to see like what the crowd is like. I know there'll be clips, but I'll go back and watch it. It's going to be good to see how San Diego comes out for this game.
It's mixed somewhere between Glengarry, Glen Ross, and Balto.
No, dude.
On the list.
It's on.
I will be watching this.
On the list.
Oh, and Media Melanie is stage managing it. I love it. She's going to be at the SDFC
for
game.
Apple, look at
Good
you.
Good for you, Media Melanie. That's great. Yeah.
Nice. I mean, I'm assuming for Apple, they're the exclusive broadcast partner of Major League Soccer.
I love it. A lot of these guys lost some work when the Bally's moved over to MLB, et cetera, et cetera. So great to have another team in town that some of these fine folks can pick up some more work and some more games, and it'll be exciting. You'll be there, right, Craig?
I will be at the match. I will be at the match. And there's the big supporters tailgate that'll be in the parking lot. They were actually SDFC is leaning into that, which I think is a good idea. It's an integral part of San Diego big match pregame culture, right? I mean, if you think back to one of the things that united folks as Chargers fans, it was tailgate culture. And one of the things that, kind of sucked about having it all disappear was tailgate culture. They just did a whole video. Now, listen, it's a gravel lot, but still, they did a whole video yesterday of guys in their lawn chairs out there saying, hey, tailgates are back in San Diego.
Yeah, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. I will never stop beating the drum that this could have been the best tailgate city. It was the best tailgate city in the NFL, or one of the best. And with all the behemoth stadiums being built and the tailgate lots being taken away, there was a real opportunity here in San Diego for just the best tailgating in the world to continue with the NFL. But unfortunately, that was taken away from you all. So if you go out there to the game, I hope you enjoy tailgating, and it will be somewhat on the same lot as the old Qualcomm.
Not only that, it's taken away from like everywhere. There's not a lot of places you could tailgate
But
anymore.
This could have been, if now that they're going back to like smaller NFL stadiums, if they would have thought ahead of the curve and said, we're just going to make a not behemoth, but not, a big enough stadium, and keep the tailgating as prime as it's been, because fans loved coming out here for that. You could have held that niche and then built the whole thing around like the what are you talking, hotels, restaurants, blah, 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 blah. And we could have been, in a different position, but
that involves planning, Annie.
For
something that our city doesn't do for anything.
SDFC has in store. At least there will be a chance to tailgate out there.
Enjoy the tailgating while you can.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's exactly. Hey, if it's something that you miss, but you're wondering what that experience is going to be like going to a soccer match, that's part of it, is getting all riled up for the match.
It's fun.
Getting all fired up. And from the supporters side, it's, all those different supporters groups are going to come together in the same lot and kind of, hey, how are you? Mingle. I mean, the leaders have all been together, and then they'll march into the stadium at some point.
That's awesome.
And march right into the north end.
I got the tailgate twice last year for the first time in a long time. It was great.
Yeah, for Aztecs.
So great. Yeah, the Aztecs. We tailgated the well, really, we tailgated 2 Washington State games. But yes, to the Aztecs. Got there as soon as the parking lot opened up, had a generator, had a TV going, got some food and stuff like that. And I had a blast. They had tons of people that you just happen to know walking through. And then the best thing about tailgate, you never know who's going to be at your tailgate party. It's always It's always a bunch of people. So it was a fun time. And then
it's the friends you make out there.
That's right. And then you go tailgate hopping a little bit.
Yeah.
One of the players that I coached at Cathedral plays at San Diego State, and his family has a gigantic Samoan tailgate that they do.
So cool.
With so much great food and everything like that. So it'd go down to their tailgate and then everything like
amazing.
that. Then we did the same thing for the bowl game, but it's cool. It's a dying thing in United States sports, is being able to tailgate with all these stadiums going to downtowns, and they're building up around it, and which is fun too. I mean, I like that kind of lead in too. I mean, I love the gas lamp with Petco Park. Like, it's just a different kind of experience, but the tailgating thing is a dying breed. So if you have the opportunity to do so, I highly recommend it, because remember, they're filling all those parking lots eventually over there with restaurants and bars and stuff like that.
Yeah. By the way, for tomorrow's match, FC has partnered with MTS, and they are offering an all-season Metro Pass so that you can take the trolley back and forth for, it would count for every game all season. And it's total of I think it's like $56 or $57 for the whole season for 20 or more trips, which is obviously both the savings of the $5 that you would be spending normally if you were just going single use, but also if you decided to drive to the match and park, you're going to spend $50. It's like 40 or $50 minimum to park. So you could park for $50, or you could go the whole season on the trolley for $50.
Take the trolley, people.
Yeah,
if you can, don't spend $50.
Yeah, I heard FC's even doing an activation,
and anywhere in the world. Don't do it if you don't have to.
I heard they're doing activations at Old Town and at Grossmont as well at the trolley stops.
Nice,
to try and catch fans going into the match. So, it's going to be really it's going to be something to be sure on Saturday.
Lynn says Wave games also have tailgates that are a lot of fun. Love that, Lynn. That's great.
Absolutely. Sirens want you to go. I remember. Sirens would love to have
tailgates. Imagine going to a tailgate and then not going to the game and then just leaving.
It sounds like you did that. I think Sam's calling you out.
No, Sam's calling himself out.
Is he doing that tomorrow?
No, he did that. He decided to. Yeah. He had tickets to the game too. He decided to.
Although I do remember a lot of Chargers. There was Chargers people that would do that. They would have the parking pass.
My uncle used to do that. They would go out
there for the big tailgates, and then if they didn't have tickets, they would leave, or they'd watch the game out in the parking lot.
Yeah, they watched the game in the parking lot. This guy just left. Sam just left.
He had a date.
He had a date. He only saw this girl one time. And he decided, and he went and got sushi.
And the legend was born.
Exactly. Yeah. And he went and got sushi, and then he didn't get date number 2, and then he just missed out.
Well, I hope everyone's safe out there tomorrow. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And the game's at 7:30? 7:30, yeah. So I'm sure it'll be a good lead-in, a good, nice, crisp night game outside in San Diego. Should be great.
And it'll be done at, 9:30-ish. Well, I'm sure the actual kickoff is probably, 7:38 or whatever. There's got to be ceremonial thises and that's. I'm sure the mayor's going to want to come out. Everyone's going to want to come out and put their stamp on it. And
be there for the first game.
I think it's worth noting too that that it's the first time that a team that's at least solid piece of it tribally owned is having a home match.
It's going to be awesome.
So that's, another I'm sure that will be noted in pre-match
ceremony. I think it was really cool when they did their groundbreaking. They infused some of the traditions, the tribal traditions into that. And so maybe there'll be some of that as well tomorrow. And that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think, it's going to be, hey, I'll let you guys know what happens on Monday. You got to be careful in situations like this if you're an old man like me. And by old, I mean 50, 50-ish.
Well, and I heard Adam and Scraby are going too. So
they're going into the press box. So
and you're going where?
I'm gonna go with the supporters.
Are you wearing the silver outfit?
To be determined.
Silver server.
I hope if you wear this, I hope there's a picture.
Yeah, we gotta take a picture.
Yeah.
Well, how will they know it's me?
Because you talked about it on air.
Hopefully I'll go incognito.
Is it like one of those that only
No, it's
leaves
not
the
gonna
eye
cover the-
holes, like in the mouth hole?
No, I'm just gonna wear a
Yeah.
balaclava with it. I'll just be like,
50 Shades of Silver.
Whoa.
Whoa, hey,
Whoa.
it's Friday. Here we go.
Friday.
He draws the foul.
Yeah, Manny Machado did say
Foul
he's
number one.
flying back for the game, so that's pretty cool. So he'll be there tomorrow.
I would
That's
hope
pretty
so.
good.
Minority owner, right?
Yeah.
So
maybe
he'll probably,
maybe Issa Rae.
yeah, I'm sure she'll be there.
She should be there. Maybe they'll be in the same suite, little
Yeah,
hobnobbing.
yeah. Maybe
pretty cool.
maybe we'll get Manny waving a scarf
Yeah,
and
yeah.
doing the LFGSD thing that he's done pretty much every time he's been asked to do this. I'd like to see it. Would love to see it. Yeah. Yeah, I saw I got approved for the credential, but at least for number one,
Mhm.
we're gonna do it the right way. We're gonna go in, full immersion so that I can
Full
let
immersion.
you know what the let you know what the experience,
Yeah.
the true experience was. And as such, I got to be careful because they're gonna go hard. They're gonna go hard the whole day, and I will not. Can't do it,
You
won't
gotta
do it.
pace yourself.
Won't do it.
Especially since the tailgating has been,
Oh.
gone from the NFL. You have to
Yeah,
work up to that
they're
sort of
gonna
thing.
all want to do shots and do
Ugh.
this and do that.
Game's kind of late for that. I mean,
Yeah,
7:30.
Guys gonna have a 48-hour hangover.
Yeah.
no chance, man.
I'll be asleep.
I pay for it hard now.
Yeah.
Yeah, take the
It
trolley.
changes. You get over a certain age, and for me, it was like somewhere around 37, 38. And all of a sudden, that hangover that's for real.
That's for real. Oh no.
It's for real.
Yeah, yeah.
Like for real. Like I'm so miserable that I really regret my actions.
Yeah.
So
You're pretty much out of business.
but
the next
I
day.
can handle a couple of beers, no problem. Like, that's not a big deal, and we're gonna be jumping and singing. So you're gonna, you just need to stay hydrated. But I'm just telling you right now, and I'm speaking it into the world. I'm not gonna accept every offer of like, hey, here, have a this,
shot.
have a that, have a
Take a
this, have
shot.
another thing, have a this, have a that. No, thank you. I'll be cool.
Fireball.
Fireball. Dun, 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 dun,
No,
dun,
thank
dun,
you.
dun, dun, dun.
All right. We've got a cool interview lined up and college basketball in our next segment. We got a double header for you, so to speak. And we're going to start things off by introducing you to Julius Juju Ballo.
Yes.
Then we'll get into everything happening in the world of college basketball to come. That's to wrap up this first hour of Annie and Elsten Padres Deep Dive Hour to follow. By the way, as we go out, Sammy Levitt confirming he'll show up at 11. And so he'll be a huge part of the Padres Deep Dive Hour as well. So stay tuned for that right here on The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring, but Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. Andy and Elsten back with you. Great to have you here with us on this Friday morning, glorious Friday morning, heading into a big sports weekend. Our eyes drift ahead to the weeks to come, and specifically to March 22nd and out to Saquon, where our next guest is going to make his pro boxing debut. He is a gold medalist at the National Golden Gloves, a double national champion in the past, a junior Pan American Games gold medalist. He is Julius Juju Ballo, a San Diegan who is going to make his pro debut coming up here in a few weeks. And he's joining us right now on the 97.3 The Fan hotline. Juju, how are you, man? Craig and Annie here.
Hey, Craig and Annie. I appreciate you guys having me on. It's a pleasure.
Well, Juju, it's awesome to have you on. You're going to make your debut, like Craig mentioned, but you have a really cool story. You're a San Diego kid. I believe you grew up in Santee, went to Tierra del Sol Middle School in Lakeside. How did you get your start in boxing, and how has that journey gone for you?
It's been a crazy journey. I started boxing at the age of 3 years old. My dad put me into the sport, and just fell in love with it. Fell in love with winning. And, we got on Team USA, won the national championship, and we went on to Colombia, got a gold medal at the Pan American Games, and we won the 2024 Golden Gloves last year, the national championship. So we just been training hard and, working like a poor man, but, living a lavish lifestyle.
Juju, what attracted you to the sport of boxing?
What attracted me to the sport of boxing was, just the feeling of winning, and also just making my dad proud. I always wanted to make my dad proud. That was like my number one thing. I hate to see him upset. When I lost, he would be upset, and my family would be upset. And when I won, it was like heaven. It was a big party. So I fell in love with winning and mastering my style and being the best boxer I could be. That's the reason why I box.
You're going to make your debut here at Saquon March 22nd. So to make your debut in your hometown where you're from, how special is that for you? And what is the kind of work ethic that has to go into that to make that debut?
Yeah, it's very special. Most boxers to do a debut at their hometown doesn't happen. Doesn't happen very often. So it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to do that. And March 22nd at Saquon Casino, it's a blessing for sure. But the work ethic is everything. Without the hard work, and not only my hard work but my team's hard work, we wouldn't be here talking right now. So it's a blessing for sure.
Juju, just looking you up, listed at 5'3". You're a featherweight, which means you have to fight between 122 and 126 pounds. What do you carry yourself at regularly? And what is it like to have to, if you're above that, what is it like to get down to weight?
They actually they got the height and the weight wrong. I'm
Perfect.
I'm 5'7". I'm 5'7", and I fight at 126 pounds.
126.
I don't walk around heavy. Yeah, I don't walk around heavier. I usually max, 135, but, 126. I like to, me. I'm a clean eater. I don't go out often.
Well, I wanted to get into a little bit of like, what is the boxing culture like in San Diego? And I saw a quote from you. You said, "I represent a new school of fighters looking to revamp the sport, looking forward to building my way to the top." Like, what is the culture? What has it been like for you growing up in it? And what direction do you think it's going? How do you want to revamp it?
Yeah, boxing in San Diego is not as big as it should be. So I'm here to do my best performing inside and outside the ring. Try to bring boxing back to San Diego. And I feel like we have the right team, and I'm gonna perform the right way to bring boxing back to San Diego. I signed with 2 promotional companies. The first boxer to do that Top Rank Boxing, Bob Arum's Top Rank Boxing.
Mm-hmm.
They work with Oscar De La Hoya, Muhammad Ali. That's they're the dinosaurs of boxing. And I also signed with Overtime League, and they're the new face, the young generation. So we got two engines. We got the twin turbo, backing us. So I think we can definitely bring boxing back, not only to San Diego, but worldwide.
How do you describe your style?
How do I describe my style? I would say I'm a boxer puncher. I just do what it takes. Do what it takes to win. If I gotta beat him up, we gotta beat him up. If I got boxing, you gotta box him. So you do what it takes to win. I'm a boxer puncher.
Hey, Julius, your Instagram, you've got over 600,000 followers on there, and you're very active on it. And I'm just curious, as we've seen with other sports all around the world, how much has that impacted your popularity in the sport or your opportunities in the sport, even other people learning more about boxing?
Yeah, definitely. The social media is everything. I appreciate all my supporters on my social media, because without them, I'm nothing. But I appreciate them, and they just love following not only my Instagram but my TikTok, my Instagram and my TikTok, where I post great content there. But it's very important as not only to boxers but to all athletes. Social media is something you definitely want to take advantage of, because you can reach a lot of people, not only in your hometown but worldwide.
Well, tell everybody how they can get tickets and come see you fight on March 22nd. I'm really excited to see San Diego come out and support you. Yeah, definitely. To get tickets and come support my pro debut, you can go to my Instagram, Julius Ballo, and it's there on my bio. If you don't have Instagram, you can go to my TikTok, Julius Ballo, Juju Ballo. You'll see it there on my bio. And you can also go to the Saquon Casino. You can go there, and it'll be listed in the events. So you can go check out those, and I hope to see everyone there, and I hope to see you guys there also. Absolutely. Well, we really appreciate it, Juju, and we'll be looking forward to it and continue to hype it up as we get even a little bit closer. But thanks for coming on, and all the best, man. Yeah. All the best going forward, and hopefully putting up that first pro win. Craig and Annie, I appreciate you guys, and look forward to talking to you guys again.
Absolutely. Good
100%.
Luck, Juju.
Take care.
Thank you.
Julius Bye-bye. Juju Ballo.
I think it's pretty cool from San Diego, from East County. You get to make your pro debut in San Diego, in your hometown, and really just down the street. I mean, a little farther than down the street, but over there at Saquon, still, over there in East County. So I bet there's going to be a lot of supporters who have watched him throughout the years that go and catch this.
100%. And I would be there. March 22nd's the Wave home opener. Mm-hmm. So I got to work. Yeah. I got to work that night. But otherwise, I would be there. I'd absolutely be there. Loved going out. I mean, live boxing, there's nothing like it.
Yeah.
Something completely unlike what you would normally go see at an average sporting event. All right. In the time we got left, and we got plenty of time left in the segment, Annie, let's switch over to college hoops and talk through both what happened last night and what's coming up this weekend. What happened last night, UCSD grinded out a tough win on the road against a team that was red hot.
Yeah.
They came in facing a Northridge team that had won 7 in a row, that was putting up huge points on the board, a team that was rolling, that went into Irvine and won by double digits, trucking teams, and UCSD, as they do, won the first half, held on in the second half, posted a 6-point win, 77-71. But if you're wondering out there, what is it? Okay, why is this team good? Let me share a number that's pretty cool. That was at the very bottom of their rundown on the UCSD website, Annie. The Tritons forced 16 turnovers and committed 9. UCSD has won the turnover battle in 28 of 29 games this season. The Tritons lead Division I in turnover margin.
I mean, that is excellent. I mean, that's, what that's how you're getting there, right?
It's not sexy.
It's not sexy, but I mean, it's getting the job done.
It's efficient. It's not committing turnovers.
Yeah.
And it's also forcing turnovers. Their point guard, Gray, leads the league in, leads the NCAA in steals, or at least he was leading the NCAA in steals. I should double check. But nonetheless, they do force steals, but they don't commit
Turnovers, yeah.
And that means extra possessions, and that means extra chances for the threes to fall. It's very academic, which is perfect for UCSD.
Exactly. And 10th straight win for them. I mean, again, they're rolling. At this point, I hate to ask it, but like, where do they stand? Can they lose? Can they get pushed out of this? Or is this really like
well, they're not in yet.
They're not in, so they just have to win.
I think they're technically a bubble team right now.
Okay.
I mean, they're going to have to win they're going to have to win their tournament.
Yeah. Okay.
There is an outside chance that they can sneak in as an at-large by not winning the tournament, but it's going to be difficult for them in Irvine until, really Irvine plays their way back up a little bit. Again, the non-conference strength of schedule continues to plummet for UCSD. That's now 260.
I think the good thing is what you just mentioned there with they know who they are. They're clinical. They understand their identity and they are efficient at it. They pull it off.
Well, they clinched last night, no worse than second. So
which means they got the semifinal spot.
Exactly. So they got the double bye. So they don't even play in the tournament till the semifinal. Yeah. And now that means they've got the garden path to number one because they've already got a 2-game lead for number one. And the rest of their games, they're going to be heavily favored. They don't have another Irvine or Northridge left on the chart. So, as long as they do what they're tracking to do and, run the table, then they're going to be in outstanding shape to take care of business here because they're going to face the number 4 seed in all likelihood in the semifinals. And then they'll, see whether it's Irvine or CSUN that gets through for the final.
You can't get tricked by any of these, Same with San Diego State. San Diego State's, hard work is essentially over, but the altitude and some of these teams that you're supposed to be like, you've got to take care of business, as we say. Can't really fall back too much.
And this is the bracket. This is the type of bracket that rewards having a great, regular season and conference play where you have to, you get the incentive to win the conference out. So they don't have to play by clinching that. Their first game will be March 14th in the tournament, which is huge. They're either going to play at 6:00 or 8:30, and they get to play one game. And then the next day they get to play the championship game. If they win that, they're in, and they don't have to worry about anything on Selection Sunday, as opposed to being a 3 or 4 where you have to go through 3 games or a 5, 6, 7, or 8 where you have to get through or a 5, 6, or a 7. Yeah,
I think 7 has to play 8 at the very beginning of it.
Yeah, well, they have 2 6 seeds playing here, so their bracket's off.
There you go.
Anyway, so that's on them. But enough. Yeah, this is how you should do these conference tournaments for typical one bid leagues. Reward the teams that did it during the regular season, so they don't have to go through a gauntlet, which is very difficult on your legs to go through multiple rounds. And sometimes you get these teams that win like 5 games in the season and get hot one weekend, and all of a sudden they're your representative in the NCAA tournament, and you're one shot at making money for the conference, because this is where most of the money is made for conferences is in the NCAA tournament, and you get more money per round that you go. And like last year, Long Beach State got hot, and it's the Big West worst opportunity to get money, and they get smashed in the first round, and now all of a sudden they don't have any money coming their way because some team got hot over the weekend. This changes that. I know people look at this and go, this is a dumb bracket. This is actually the most intelligent bracket you can have for rewarding your regular season. Like the Mountain West should have this, but they don't.
Yeah. No, I couldn't agree more. And it used to be even more unfair, right? And the creation of these types of bowling tournament style brackets that allows for a little bit less variance, because if you are in that example, Long Beach State, you have to play 4 straight days.
Yeah.
And you have to beat a team that's only played 1 straight day and you've played 3.
Right.
Now, if they lose to you, okay, right? They choked, they blew it. But it's so much harder. That fourth day makes it almost impossible. Like no matter how good, if you're an 8 seed, like by nature, if you're an 8 seed that can get hot, that probably means you have like 2 or 3 seniors on your team that just get red hot and they're carrying, or you've got a 7-man rotation, but they just got red hot, but they're going to be exhausted by the end of it.
How can you not be?
Yeah. I mean, you look at some of these other brackets out there, and there's some that invite everybody to the tournament. And you look at some of the brackets, some teams have to win 5 games to get to the final, right? And at that point, if you are that team that goes off and rips off a bunch of wins, honestly, you deserve to be in it at that point. If you go through and win 5 straight games after you had a miserable regular season, that you deserve to go to the NCAA tournament. But to line up everything equally like a normal tournament, you can have these crazy seeds run through a little bit, and it's kind of a fluke of a deal. And it just takes away from why play everybody twice in the regular season kind of attitude.
Absolutely. Meanwhile, we talked about it mostly yesterday, but Miles Bird during our show before Aztecs practice, just kind of on his own said, "I'm not going to go into the portal. I'm going to test the NBA pre-draft. I'll have my agent, sign me up for some pre-draft camp type stuff." But he gets a month to test the waters on that and withdraw. And lots of kids do this
Absolutely.
now.
And he should. And sometimes, too, it gives you good feedback. So he can get the feedback from the NBA scouts or teams or whatever, and then go and implement that for his senior year or his next year, right? He's a senior, yeah?
He's a sophomore.
Sophomore. Oh, God. Never mind.
So, his junior year.
Just kidding.
Come back for his junior
year. That's it.
But that's tremendous news for San Diego State. Long-term program's looking great for next year. Potential for awesome. Just depends on Guath. Is a guy you have to wonder about. But does Bird go pro? But if everyone else, Reese Waters coming back,
it's a big deal for them. Absolutely.
The 7-footer that's a red shirt right now coming up and coming on, they should have a really good to great team next year. And the great side, there's a true possibility for it if they do bring everybody back. So they're at Wyoming this weekend. And that game usually just is a
arena auditorium,
big old slog,
dome of doom,
the altitude. And
to go back to that tournament thing, like the West Coast Conference, San Diego is going to be the 11th seed in that.
Yeah.
They have to win 5 games to make the championship. So game 4 for them would be against Gonzaga, who hadn't played in a game all tournament, right? So San Diego would have to they play at noon next Thursday, and then they would have to play Friday, Saturday, Sunday, semifinals against Gonzaga on Monday, and then they'd be in the championship. If a team were able to do that and win the whole thing, they would deserve a chance to go to the NCAA tournament. But the way those brackets are set up, that's how you make it fair for your 1 and 2 and your 3 and 4 for doing well in the regular season, as opposed to somebody that didn't do well in the regular season. And by the way, every game that they would play would be against a team that hadn't played a game yet this week during the tournament. So everybody's fresh that you have to go against. Meanwhile, you're going to be on game 5 and day 6 being in Vegas if you're able to make that run. So they make it very difficult for those teams at the bottom. That's how every conference tournament should be.
Did USD win last night?
No, they were down by 30 and they came back and lost by, I think, 7.
So that's 16 in a row.
Yeah, they won their first West Coast Conference game against Pacific, and then they haven't won since.
Well, Point Loma Nazarene, I know they're D2, but they have been doing really, really well.
They always do well.
As we shout out the San Diego schools, yes.
Yeah, USD has not won a basketball game in 2025.
Yeah, both men and women at Point Loma are killing it. Going for Pac West titles and moving into the playoffs as well. So
fun for people in San Diego to go out and check out these teams.
Except for USD.
It's been
you can still support it.
Yeah, support.
Yeah,
it's just not very fun.
What happened to Tony Buckets?
16 in a row.
Tony Duckett's still there.
Okay,
they're just not very good. I mean, they haven't been able to win. So
hey man,
they shouldn't have to go to Vegas. Like if you come in on like a 17-game losing streak, just stay home.
The game's at noon on Thursday.
That's rough.
That's rough. Rough for Jack Cronin.
Is it bad when the team manager already has asked for early checkout? Let's come on back. Sammy Levitt joins us. He's not checking out. He's in the Airbnb for another month, and he's back with us on the Deep Dive Hour next. It's Padres Deep Dive Hour time. Baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. Welcome back, everybody. It's hour number 2 of Annie and Elsten on a Friday. Annie Heilbrunn, Craig Elsten, Braden Soprenet, and joining us live from Padres spring training in Peoria, more specifically from the Airbnb, I can see, is Sammy Levitt. What's up, Sammy?
Welcome to the Airbnb here in Glendale. A night game this evening in Peoria, so a little bit of a different schedule. Don't have to be at the complex until the mid-afternoon. So nice to sleep in a little bit, have a slower morning for once. So we have an off day on Monday, so I'm looking forward to that. So should be a good weekend of baseball, and nice little off morning here, which is rare.
Yeah, very nice to get those, I'm sure, especially with those early wake-up calls like it's been all camp. Hey, are you looking forward to tonight? I mean, some starters in the lineup and a night game should be a different feel to it, maybe.
Yeah, I think there are two things to really look forward to tonight. And of course, you can listen to tonight's game on 97.3 The Fan with Jesse and Tony. So that's fun. Two things really three things, I would say, to look forward tonight. Number one, the debut of Fernando Tatis Jr., which is great. Fernando was out on the field the last couple of days and looked great running and hitting and doing outfield work. So that'll be great to see Fernando, in all likelihood, from what we heard yesterday, make his Cactus League debut. And then around Fernando, it sounds like it will be a very A lineup today. It's one of those days where I would say, one of those days. See, my schedule's different. I'm all out of whack. It's one of those days where I would say you may be able to read into the lineup at least a little bit. Like, we'll see what the lineup looks like today. It's going to be an A lineup, I think, with Fernando in it. So, for the first time, it may be like, what can we read into this positionally? Who's in it, who's not? So that'll be interesting. And then Braden Nett, who has been highly touted and really, I think, one of the arms that has turned a lot of heads here at spring training on the mound tonight in the starting spot. So I think all those three reasons, very exciting game against the Mariners tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to hear it all here on 97.3 The Fan and enjoy what I guess. So then we're asking the questions. Who's the left fielder? Who's the DH? Right? One thing that was answered in a very positive way yesterday, Sammy, who can catch Matt Waldron? Elias Diaz was out there in Mesa, 3 shutout innings for Matt Waldron with the knuckleball percentage trending towards 70. And I tell you what, man, I don't see how he's not the 5th starter because he's got one of the most unique pitches in baseball.
Yeah, Craig, I tend to agree with you. I mean, like I said to you earlier in the week from a conversation that I've had earlier in spring training and just my vibe of it, I did get the impression it's an open competition, right? They're not going to hand that to Matt Waldron. But I think when you pair Waldron's level of success last year for an extended stretch, the uniqueness, if that's a word, is uniqueness a word? I think it is, of the knuckleball. And I think we've talked about this, the unknown in a good way with Matt Waldron. We really don't know what Matt Waldron can be, because like you said, if he's going to throw the knuckleball 60, 70% or higher, well, that's a very different pitcher than what he was last year when he was living in the 20s, the 30s, some games, right? I mean, and it's been a process. I mean, we've followed this now for a couple of seasons with Matt Waldron as he's learned how to use this pitch. So I'm with you. To me, he has taken a step forward. The game obviously yesterday wasn't on video, and I didn't see any of it outside the highlights because I wasn't there. I was doing the afternoon show. So again, I'm just going off what I hear, but it seemed like from what I heard that Elias Diaz did a good job catching the knuckleball yesterday. So that's an encouraging development. So yeah, I think so far so good for Matt Waldron to see him go out there and put up 3 scoreless innings and use the knuckleball more. Very encouraging. And I wouldn't be shocked if, he's sort of the leader in the clubhouse right now. We'll see over the course of spring how it shakes out. But I'm with you. I think he continues for a lot of different reasons to take some pretty significant steps forward.
And Braden Nett, he started last few days ago against the Dodgers, right? Sammy had 1 good inning. Looks like he had 1 rough inning, which is understandable. The Dodgers lineup had 8 major leaguers in it. What do you know about him? What can we learn about him?
Yeah, he's somebody on the backfields that has impressed quite a bit. Now, honestly, I haven't spoken to him yet at length, and that's on my to-do list. It's funny with, and it's funny with like the part of the clubhouse where it's the young pitchers, right? Like you're trying to see, okay, who's not worth.
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah,
though.
it's like
you have to.
It's like okay. So I usually go over and introduce myself, and then during the course of spring training, it's like, okay, who do you want to get the longer interview with? Who's turning heads? Yeah, Bradley Rodriguez, certainly one of them. I would put Braden Nett there because he's highly touted, right? So with Nett in the first outing against the Dodgers, first inning really good, Annie, like you said. Second inning, little bit rougher. His numbers last year, pretty good. I know on the backfields, he has been a guy, and there are these guys throughout every spring training I find. Like I would say Jairo Iriarte was one of them last year before he got traded. There are just guys that are getting their first taste on the backfields where there's a buzz about him, and there's certainly a buzz about Braden Nett, I think, from the Padres organization perspective. So stuff's good. He throws hard, and another good opportunity. It's really nice for these guys to get these chances on a Friday night in Peoria. Should be a great crowd. Now, is Braden Nett, going to crack an opening day roster? Probably not, but good opportunity for him before, I would assume inevitably he gets put back into minor league spring training. A good opportunity for him. And this is good stuff for these guys, and maybe gives them a little gusto heading into their minor league season to know they're pretty close. So yeah, he's a buzz guy for sure. And looking forward to seeing him tonight.
One of the things that I just enjoy about spring training, Sammy, and I'm sure you recognize it as well as we talk about, you're looking at the young pitchers and about like, who do I want to do a long form interview with, is that spring training in so many ways is about the guys who wind up being on the fringe of the major league roster. It's about the role players. It's about guys who are going to be below the role players, the depth below a role player on the roster, the eighth starter, the fourth DH, and it's real and meaningful battles, and it's real human beings, and it becomes captivating content. And then when we get to the big leagues, it's, hey, what did Xander do? What's going on with Toddy? What's happening with Manny? What's up with Cronenworth? We're only talking about the big dogs come March 27th, and that's kind of, I think, one of the joys to me of spring training.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think it's a great opportunity for the young guys. It's a great opportunity for, like you said, the fringe guys, the kind of quadruple A type guys who have been up and down in their careers a lot. And I think the interesting part about spring as well, in this sense, especially early before they start whittling down the clubhouse, and I would give you a good example, Forrest Wall. Great example of somebody who, I look at the names and I look at the two bench spots. Like, is Forrest Wall going to come out of nowhere to win one of those? Probably not, although you never say never. If he ends up just having a Babe Ruth type of spring, you never know. But when you talk about guys that at least are turning heads of your organization, even if Forrest Wall goes to AAA, well, hey, when the Padres need somebody later in the year, which inevitably you do, maybe he becomes that guy partially because of what he did in spring.
Hey, Sammy, Eggy Rosario has been getting quite a few opportunities, and I know that they're moving him around to different positions. How high does it seem like they are on him right now in terms of taking a look?
Yeah, I think Eggy's had just a really, really good start to spring. The ability to hit right-handers. I keep thinking about the home run he hit to right center. It was really impressive against a good right-hander, a talented right-hander in Ben Brown. He's looked pretty comfortable in left field. I think even beyond playing left, the fact that he's versatile, he can play the infield, is good. To me, he's one of the front runners to grab one of those bench spots. I think he's a known commodity. He has hit tool ability. If he can hit right-handers a little bit more, Mike Schilt talked about that the other day, about if he can even out his splits a little bit more, then you're talking about somebody who gets more playing time. So between the versatile nature of his defense, if he can play left field, and his ability to hit, and we've seen him a little bit, I do think Eggy has a really good chance to make this team, and he's right there as far as front runners for one of those bench spots in my mind for sure.
Talking with Sammy Levitt live from Padres spring training. And Sam, we were just getting a question in the chat about it as well. Would you say that Terso Ornelas and Gavin Sheets are in direct competition? Is it more of saying that there's a bucket for one spot and maybe Yuli Gurriel is in that bucket, Wall is in that bucket, etc.? But how would you describe that?
It's a good question because Tirso, they're kind of different, right? Like Tirso's the outfield type. I think I haven't really seen Sheets work in the outfield, although he's played a little bit of outfield in his career. They strike me as a little bit different. Maybe I'd put Sheets and Gurriel kind of in one category and maybe then like Ornelas in another category. That's a good question. To me, they strike me as different, and it may be more of a need thing of how they view their roster and what they need out of that final bench spot per se. So I put them in kind of two separate categories, and I also think they're a little bit different too. Just the players, like Ornelas has never been in the big leagues. Sheets has. Gurriel is, going to be 41. So I think to me, they're two separate categories of guys, and I think maybe experience-wise and also positionally, that may come down to kind of what they need and what this roster looks like. And that's something when you talk about what they need that they've talked about a little bit in terms of Eggy, of like, hey, he may play such and such spot early in spring, and then as the roster maybe crystallizes more, you may see him play more infield, let's say. You may see him play exclusively outfield, let's say. So I do think there's a process of seeing where things are shaking out, and then things are going to crystallize. They've talked about that in terms of Eggy in particular, but it's an interesting question. I kind of view those two categories of guys, Sheets, Gurriel, Wall, Ornelas, Gonzalez, maybe a little bit separately because I find them different. But I guess it may come down to what they need, what they feel like they need out of that quote unquote final bench spot.
Sammy, did you get your pants?
I did. I did.
The Lululemon trip was successful.
Nice.
Yes, I went yesterday. I got four pairs of pants. They hem them for free. So I go a little, I've noticed with Lulu, they hem a little short. Like it always ends up being a little shorter than what I want. So I've learned you got to go, because what they do is they have the waist size, but then you can get any length size, and then they will hem them for free. It's not the best hem job in the world, to be honest with you, but it's never, unraveled. It's always been good enough. So anyway,
I'm happy for you.
You go
it's
a little
free,
bit,
so.
a little bit long.
Yeah,
a little bit long. Yes, a little bit longer on the hem. And hopefully they come out well. They are not cheap. That's the one thing I will say about the ABC pant. They are not cheap.
Close.
An investment.
Well, they're well worth it.
Yes.
I mean, to me, I wear them enough where it's like one of those clothes items, and I think we all have these, where it's like, if you're going to wear it, if it's going to be a key part of what you wear 365 days a year or for work or whatever it might be, then it's well worth it. It's like anything. It's like a gym membership. Hey, we all know some of these gym memberships, some of these workout classes, really expensive, way too expensive. But if you're putting, buckets of where you're going to spend your money, well, if you're going to use it, it's a really good thing to spend your money on. And of course, I should work out more. I don't know why I'm giving advice on this, but
you've fallen into pickleball universe there. I learned so much about the paddle system yesterday.
You didn't get any Lulu shorts for pickleball?
I was fascinated. Honestly, I was fascinated. Now, I'm a naturally curious person, Sammy. Other people would maybe be bored by that, but I wasn't. I was like, so you line them up and then you go 4 at a time or 2, King's Court, Arizona chaos system. Totally. I'm like, yep, sounds like Arizona to me. Like basically you guys are using like old Whataburger wrapped up bags as your markers instead of paddles. I get it. But fascinating. I think people don't invest well enough, Sammy, along those lines in shoes. I think that's such an important thing, especially like running shoes. The difference I've personally experienced the difference between having crappy running shoes and then getting good running shoes and going like, oh, wait, this actually is a benefit to me. For a thing that I'm doing all the time. This seems like a really good idea as opposed to the money we waste on other things.
Right. I'm with you. Like my shoe thing now is I wear almost exclusively Allbirds for sneakers. So I'm very meticulous.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm very meticulous. So like, for example, on the baseball field, on the warning track, whether it's here or at Petco, whatever, the rubbers of the shoes get really, really dirty. They do, because of the warning track, right? They just do. So after every use in the morning before I wear them, I have a shoe cleaner. I scrub the shoe, I wipe it down, and it keeps them looking really new. So I'm very meticulous about my pants, about my shoes, about my pickleball style. Yeah, if you missed it yesterday, I was talking about pickleball on the afternoon show.
We've learned a lot about you here.
How disappointed I've been about the pickleball scene here in Arizona. Yes. It's just a mess. It's a total mess.
Ugly.
We've got people, they want to play two. Oh, this person only plays with this person. These two want to play. In San Diego, we line up the paddles, courts open, next 4 up, you play in whatever combination. Bam, done.
Just go.
Arizona has become like exclusive. They feel like they're better than everyone else in the pickleball arena.
Put the ball down. Let's play.
Let's play. Right.
That's an equitable.
Very unhappy.
That's a diverse and equitable way to play here in San Diego.
Yeah.
Arizona's being way too exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, hey, it's my court.
Hey, man, that's your favorite state.
I only play with Sushi Sam. I only play with Sushi Sam. That's the only way I play.
Yeah. The other issue I've had is that there are these 2 places I've been. They're beautiful facilities, beautiful indoor facilities. The problem I've had also is that, like, sometimes I show up at like 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, like typical, like, hey, that's going to be busy time. And then there's like 2 people there. So
they're all at the chain restaurants eating. I mean,
yeah. So I don't know, in San Diego, I could go to Mission Bay. My people at Mission Bay. I could go at 1 p.m. on a Wednesday, and guess what? There's people to play with. Plenty of people. So I've been underwhelmed by the pickleball scene in Peoria and Glendale so far. But there's hope. There are a lot of places to go.
A lot of
look
time
up a couple of new places to go.
I'm never going to invite Sam to pickleball. The guy is judgy about the pickleball setup.
Listen,
only the elite athletes like playing with elite
Could you
competition.
imagine Sam the golfer? I mean, because I could.
I can see Sam the golfer.
And I know it's coming. I know you don't yet, Sam.
You would spend so much
money.
Don't yet. Because you would want all the meticulousness
you
of
will.
golf.
You're gonna golf.
Get yourself a city card. Go up to the local muni, which is Torrey Pines.
It's hard.
He's Ocean Beach now. Can he get that?
Yeah, that's city limits.
Yeah, you can.
I can't. You can. You're lucky. I'm not.
Sam, we gotta go hit the links.
I know. I've never golfed in my life, so the problem is like I always think, how am I going to get into that? Like,
you never pickleballed in your life until you.
You know what?
I guess.
You know what?
But it seems like you can pick up pickleball. No pun intended. A lot easier than golf.
So we got to bring Sammy out to the.
Easier too.
We're going to bring Sammy out to the Poway Sportsplex on a Wednesday night.
Yeah.
Have him play with Ello and I.
Oh man.
Wow. Let's get Sam on the diamond.
Softball.
Little softball Sam. Wow. Softball Sam. Wow.
Oh, I would love that. No, I played in a softball league last winter. I play softball.
Which one did you play in?
He just wasn't in your league. I
played Navolo.
Oh, we gotta get him out of single A, man. We gotta get him out of single A.
Wow.
Please tell me you didn't play at Presidio.
No, we played in Ocean Beach. Actually.
All right. So that's okay. Yeah. That might be double A. We got to get you up to triple A in the majors over at the Poway and Santee Sportsplex.
Yeah. Wow.
We gotta get Scraby out there again. Scraby used to play with us, Sam. Me, you, Scraby, and Chris on a Wednesday night in Poway. That sounds like a great time.
I'm open to it.
Please just live stream it. That's all we.
They
need
do
the live stream.
Poway Sportsplex does live stream some games. That would be the game of the week for sure.
Yeah, we got the social media guy on right now, so he's got the big stick.
I think the content for TikTok would be great, Sam.
There you go. There we go.
It would for sure. Could live stream it.
Sammy, we're going to let you go, buddy.
Softball
Have a great
Sammy.
rest of the weekend.
All right.
Please enjoy. You. Can't wait to chat to you on Monday.
Thanks, Sammy.
All right. See ya. Talk to you Monday.
You got it. There he goes. Spring training Sammy. He's got the ABCs all hemmed up right.
Softball Lulu Sammy.
He's got
I love
real takes on real things.
I like the strategy. Like you go, I think this is the good strategy. If you absolutely love something, go buy 4 pairs, get them hemmed up the way you like them.
Done.
You know you're going to wear them all year long and for years to come. Done.
I've done that at Lulu before.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be an investment. You're going to fork over some dough.
Yeah.
That'll be my one purchase for 2 years at that place.
You know you're going to wear them, right?
I'm all Lulu today. I got the pants, I got the shirt, and then this is a Lulu hoodie. It's all Lulu.
Hey,
Lou. Well, cool, man. I don't, but it's great. Sounds good to me. But I
So
agree with the
comfortable.
general premise.
I gotta tell you,
agree with the premise.
he's got the baseball ops uniform down.
Yeah, he does.
Allbirds, Lululemon pants. This
Yes.
is PR too. This is the PR crew
is
and
the
like the
PR
front.
staff.
It's the whole. It's really the whole baseball culture. All right. It's
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Allbirds, either 3/4 sleeve or long sleeve. The polo,
The quarter zip.
Quarter zips, Lulu pants. We're in deep.
Ballin'.
Or anti. Yeah. Let's take a break. It's 11:20.
What's wrong with Presidio? They have a 200-foot fence. That's what's wrong with Presidio.
Oh, okay. Shotgun.
Hey, man, there's different levels of leagues for softball out there. Volo's the single A group. I didn't make the rules.
Fair. When we come back, he grew up on an island off the coast of British Columbia. That's something I learned this morning about Nick Pavetta. He joined Ben and Woods. We're going to bring you that interview next, right here on your Padres Deep Dive Hour, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box's new crispy boneless wings have so much more crunch than the competition, you won't be able to think about soggy nugs again.
No soggy nugs
No
here.
soggy nugs for the weekend, especially.
Definitely not. Keep them crisp.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody likes no soggy nugs.
Mm-mm.
No. Crispy wings greater than soggy nugs.
So munch more.
Munch more Padres content to come here on the Padres Deep Dive Hour. Look, it's what it says.
Yeah.
What it says.
That's why a couple days ago, couldn't wait for you to read it.
Yes.
Hilarious. So your style.
How much more?
Much more.
Talking munch more.
Well,
hey, we don't need Craig to come up with his own dad jokes. We just have written
just
for
read
him.
them off the page.
Yeah.
You're encouraging me. All right, let's bring in Ben and Wood's interview with Nick Pivetta. This is a voyage of discovery. JJ in the chat saying Victoria may be on an island, but it's the capital of British Columbia. You've got the capital of the entire province, and it's not even on the. It's offshore.
I'm not good at maps.
That's wild.
That's neato. I don't know.
That's some wild stuff.
Wow.
Okay, let's hear from Nick Pivetta.
All right, we're joined right now by one of the newest members of the San Diego Padres. Starting pitcher Nick Pivetta is on with Ben and Woods here on 97.3 The Fan. Nick, welcome to the Padres. Welcome to the flagship radio station. It's great to meet you. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Just settling in for the first week, but happy to be here. It's nice Arizona spring training weather, so can't complain.
Yeah, so you were in Florida before with the Red Sox. What are your main differences other than the excruciatingly long drive times in Florida? How much nicer is it to be here in Arizona?
Well, I don't want to start off with a lie. I actually really prefer Florida spring training.
Okay,
yeah.
You're the only one.
No, I know. I like.
But
I
that's
like
what you're
the
used
sweat.
to.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing since I started my career.
This is dry.
It's what I like. It's very dry here.
It's so dry.
Not a lot of birds, not a lot of trees, not a lot of water. But I grew up on an island on the west coast of Canada, so I'm just used to ocean, so I just prefer it. But
I got it. Well, San Diego's gonna be great for you.
Be perfect.
100%. So what do you know about the San Diego Padres? I mean, you're playing for the Boston Red Sox, other side of the country, rarely in interleague play. Yeah, you'll meet them every once in a while. But what did you know about the San Diego Padres before signing with them in free agency a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot. I did spend some time there intermediately with the Phillies when we would come into town, and then I was able to come out, I think, 2 years ago with the Red Sox. So I haven't been able to spend a lot of time there. I did spend an off season in LA, so I'm a little more familiar with that. But I know the city's a vibrant city. The fan base is very much grown over the years, and they're a very passionate group, along with, the passionate group of baseball players we have here and the guys. But it's just a city that has the desire to win. It just excites me.
And the funny thing is I grew up, spent some time in Connecticut, got, saw the Yankees Red Sox rivalry, which was a really good one. That rivalry is fizzled a little bit. I mean, compared to what it used to be. The one that has been brewing here between the Dodgers and the Padres has been pretty electric. And it reminds me of back in those days when you were pitching with the Red Sox, that kind of feeling when you played the Yankees. What was that like?
Yeah, I mean, it's always exciting. Pitching in Yankee Stadium is actually one of my more favorite places to pitch. I think there's a lot of intensity, a lot of excitement. I think it mirrors the same intensity excitement that we have here against the Los Angeles Dodgers. So I thrive in those moments. I look forward to those moments, and it's just what baseball is all about.
We've heard that about you. I mean, that was we've talked to a couple people that covered you in Boston as well, and said, man, the guy is start day for Nick Pivetta. What is that like? Walk us through a start day for you. I mean, day before a little different, day after certainly a little different, but day of start, what is that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think the wheels don't really start turning until about 5:30. I'm pretty relaxed. I like to go out, shag BP, hang out with the guys. I don't like to sit around and not talk, but given the time around 5:36, I start to lock in a little bit more. I have my prep routine that I follow, and then it's just go out there and just pitch until I get the ball taken out of my hand. I think it's just very grateful for the opportunity to be able to be in the big leagues, to be able to play for many teams as I have, and to be where I am today. So I think I just try to leave everything out there as I possibly can, and just have fun and go out there and attack.
All right, that's good to know because I've been covering baseball for 20 plus years, and when I was getting started, I was warned sometimes don't even look at the starting pitcher on the day that there was no eye contact whatsoever. Sounds like you're not quite that insane about it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it probably is like the wind, some days, it might hit me a little bit different. I might wake up in a different mood, but for the most part, I'm pretty easygoing up until like I got to get locked in. But other days, there might be days where you don't want to be around me, and that's totally okay. I just have one job to do.
So we heard that they were doing it. They did it. You were a part of it. The Netflix documentary that's going to be coming out on Netflix. I'm not sure when it drops. I'm excited to see it. It's something that like I'm a very average golfer, but I really like the full swing that they put together. They've done a good job with the NFL too. What was that like being a part of that experience, and what are we going to expect to see from that? I mean, you probably haven't seen the final cut yet. Yeah, but what's it going to look like?
I don't know how much you're going to see of me. I kind of really I was the union rep for the team over there, and so I was very engaged with kind of just communicating back and forth with the team. First thing I say is like it's going to be very exciting. Hopefully the product is really good. Yeah. I know Greg, the director, he was very passionate about this. The team that was there were really good, and they're really respectful of us at the same time. There's a lot of engagement with a lot of players, and hopefully just it gives a good perspective of what it's like to go through 162. I think that was kind of the end goal and range of like what it's really like to have to do this every single day, show up to the field, the same things going on, and then along with the travel, etc. You also get to meet a lot of really good personalities on and off the field, what I think is going to be really important. So hopefully the product is good, and I look forward to it coming out as well. I think it's good for the game. There's so much online media, YouTube, all of these more intimate settings. Yeah. And I think it just brings a more intimate setting into the game, and you get to really know these players on their year and the things that they have to deal with as they move forward. It kind of, one thing that I really liked was the back in the 24/7 NHL series. Mm-hmm. I think it was on HBO at the time, and then seeing the full swing. So I think those things are more in line with our game, and I think it's up to us players to kind of be able to come up in those moments and do those things.
And baseball has been a sport traditionally that it has kind of been harder to get inside, and I don't know where that came from or why, but we all love access. I mean, the more access we can get, there's also a part of it's like some mystery is always good too. Maybe I don't need to know as much as I know about certain players or whatever, but if done the right way, baseball is such that game that allows that. That's why you saw, Mookie Betts doing a podcast, and I mean, they went out and won the World Series, and of course, you had Dodger fans complaining all year long that he was doing a podcast in the middle of the season, but that's Mookie Betts. Like, I think that there's a way to do it and a way not to, and I'm excited to see it, man. I think it's a good idea, and it lets us all understand a little bit more about the great game.
Yeah, I think there's so much media nowadays too that it's not a distraction. It can't be a distraction because honestly, fans want to see more baseball. They want to see more content. They want to see more things that involve more than just the baseball game. Yeah. And so for me, I don't think it's almost like it's a new experience. That's not gonna, if anything, a guy doing those types of things, it's almost like, oh wow, he's doing this, he's giving more fan experience, right, more online media, and he's going out and producing in the field and doing all these things. That's amazing.
There's a stoicism that's come with baseball. There really has been. I mean, and you see that through the years. And I've always I like more personality, and I like seeing pitchers with personality on the mound. Hitters like to show a lot of personality. When you throw a ball and you leave one up and somebody hits it 450 feet and he stares at it and celebrates it, back in the day, that probably pissed you off, right? And that's kind of how a lot of people were brought up through the game. Now I think there's a greater understanding. It's like, well, if you get me, I'm going to get you back, and I'm going to give you a little bit of an earful walking off the mound too. Everything, all that's good with you. Yeah,
I mean, I think the game's evolving. I mean, do I like giving up home runs and watching guys punch them? Absolutely not. Does it still get me upset? No, but being a pitcher that has hitting is extremely hard. It is not easy to do, and sometimes a hitter's going to get you and it's going to happen, and it can be during a big moment. I like to see it more when it's a bigger moment, when it means something.
Yes, I agree.
Obviously, there's lots of personalities in game, and people can be people and they can do what they want. But I'll just try not to give up so many home runs.
There you go. That's what they always say.
We're talking to new Padres pitcher Nick Pivetta. And Nick, you mentioned being the player rep, which I think is fascinating. Obviously, there's always going to be some differences of opinion, players and owners, things to bargain over. I think the fans are also an important part of the game as well. From your perspective, what are the biggest issues in baseball that you want to see addressed, as we come up, unfortunately, on another probably CBA, talks in a couple of years?
Yeah. And as a good CBA rep or a player rep, I'm not going to go into exactly what we're kind of looking for right now. I know that we're working through those types of plans. We're kind of divulging what we kind of want to make our main priorities. I don't think I can give you a straightforward answer on that right now.
But it is being talked about.
We're still some time out, so I think there's still some conversations that we're figuring out and kind of coming up with a decent game plan to kind of attack these main. But also at the same time, I think we want to work with the league and work with them and make sure that we're exchanging proposals as often as possible so that we can get this done and we don't have another work stoppage or anything like that like happened in 21.
Well, selfishly, the lack of content murdered us. And I keep looking down the road going, my contract is up. I don't know if I'll re-sign if there's another work stoppage because, you run out of stuff to talk about. So you grew up in Canada, right? No hockey? Play hockey?
No, I'm not I like hockey, obviously, but I like to watch hockey. I never played. I've always played baseball, and baseball's been my number one thing since I was younger.
How does that happen in Canada?
So I grew up in an island, so the climate's rather mild. We don't get as much snow, so I can play full winter ball, take about a month off, work out, indoor training from December to February, and usually by February we're back outside.
Nice. Nice.
All right, last thing for me, you come to the Padres. Obviously, there's some good starting pitchers here already, guys who throw hard. You got you, who's a crafty veteran. What has struck you already about some of your new teammates in the Padres starting rotation?
Yeah, I think it's a really cohesive group. I think the communication with everybody is really strong. Obviously, I'm just getting to know the group of guys and watching throw. I got to watch you throw a bullpen today, and I think he just continues to defy everything that is to be a pitcher. He looked absolutely extraordinary today. So I kind of just look forward to watching these guys, see how they go about their business, and then opening and engaging more conversations as the season kind of unfolds. But, you got Dylan and you got Michael. You have Hart that signed on as well. And then I actually watched Vasquez throw today too as well. I think there's a really good group of pitchers. I think Cease and King, are very, very good pitchers that have done it and have continued to do it. So those guys are really important for this thing. So I'm glad that, I'm a part of this group, and I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah, we're glad you're here, man. It was a big surprise. It really was. We talked about it on the air, and we kind of hoped that it would happen. And just getting that text on that Tuesday night was like, wait, we did what? And to go out and watch you throw yesterday and battle one of the best hitters in baseball was a lot of fun. You and Toddy going at it pretty good, and you got him and he got you, and that's the way baseball goes.
Trevor Hoffman did say that homer was definitely wind aided.
He did, by the way. Hoppy was
he's picking me up. He's on a pitcher side.
That's wind aided.
He goes, that was wind aided.
That's nice that he's on my side. I appreciate that.
100%. Anytime you can get Hoppy on your side, that's where you want to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
pleasure to meet you. Look forward to watching you pitch.
Good stuff there. Nick Pivetta.
Yeah, great to learn more about him, and excited to see him for the Padres and what he brings to the clubhouse and the field.
I was really interested in the player union rep side of that as well.
He's very involved.
No question. All right. Well, it took us a little long. We're going to come back and give you at least a piece of the Manny Machado interview from yesterday on Ben and Woods, and we got the 12 o'clock sports fix to follow. It's Annie and Elsten rolling till 2, sending you to the weekend here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. well, another expert job in clock management here from the captain's desk. Managed to price ourselves out of Machado here.
Hayward's 12 minutes.
All right, want to do that?
It's close at least. Sure. All right.
You can do that if you want.
Yeah. We didn't get to hear Jason Hayward either. We'll try and get to Manny a little bit later in the program, if possible, maybe 12:20. We'll see how things shake out. But right now, let's bring you some of Ben and Wood's conversation with Jason Hayward earlier this week at spring training.
Jason Hayward was going to be joining the program as well. Right now, Jason's serving as our he's kind of like our sandbag, keeping our tent from blowing away at this moment. But he's sitting right there. But he said, I'm not going to go in front of Manny. He wanted to wait for Manny to come out and do his spot with us before he sat down. So he's here, though. He's tier one in the audience at this point. I'm looking forward to talking to Jason, though. And hey, it looks like he's going to sit down. All right. Yeah, you can wait on Manny for a while, Jason. He's got Manny time.
He's on his Manny time.
He's got a schedule. So let's welcome to the program one of the newest members of the Padres, veteran Jason Hayward is with us here on 97.3 The Fan. How you doing, man? Nice to meet you.
I appreciate the welcome. I'm doing awesome. It's a beautiful morning out here in Peoria, and we're another day closer. I think that's the mindset and that's the vibe in camp so far.
So for you've been to a lot of these, a lot of these spring trainings, a lot of different teams, and run into a lot of different players. When you get the call and find out there's interest with the San Diego Padres, kind of tell us how that went for you.
Padres had interest, I feel like midway, quote unquote, through the offseason. But I think everyone got to see it. Baseball fans, baseball players, this is, I feel like, one of those premier destinations right now. You see it throughout my career, especially this is year 16. Wow. When the Padres have an opportunity to be good, that's one of the places you want to be. So that was my mindset. But AJ reaching out, a couple people in the front office reaching out saying we have interest, but we also have to see how some things play out. And, as we're doing our due diligence through the rest of the league and seeing what opportunities might come about, this was a unique offseason. Like a lot of times there's filler space that, front offices say, hey, we want to see what we can do with trades, this and this and that, free agent wise. But this was actually like holding true. A lot of free agents. Of course, there's still a lot of guys out there, but also a lot of trade potential. So, just an exciting phone call, exciting opportunity when I heard Padres had interest.
And you talked about premier destinations, and as much as we don't like the Dodgers here in San Diego and on this program, it is a premier destination. And it was such an example for me last year of just how ice cold this business can be when you hit the big home run and then next day they're like, we're going to go in a different direction. I mean, yes, you have 15 years of the league at that time. Still can't feel great, when you're contributing and helping a team win. And I know you're going to get a World Series ring this year from them, and that's really special. But that moment for me in particular, I went, my God, man, we got to keep remembering how these guys are human and how this business can be nasty.
Absolutely. It's 100% a business. I think the quicker you learn that, the better, especially for some of the young guys coming on the scene who are doing a lot of good for this game and bringing in this new era. At the same time, you got to go about your process. You've got to show up every day, of course, like pushing to win. You want to be in that opportunity. A franchise who's, making their best mark on each day and impacting and getting the best 9 players on the field, opening conversation and communication with me, and then let me know how it went. It came down to crunching numbers on who's going to be there longer term, who may not be, and I had to go about my separate way and figure out what was next for me and my family.
We've talked to, so many big leaguers over the years, and they kind of make reference to it in the movie Moneyball, that after a while, you're a professional in this business. You just want to hear it straight. You don't want to be kind of looking over your shoulder and maybe hearing whispers and this and that. Nick Castellanos said it this offseason. He said he heard he was rumored. He just called the GM and said, are you trading me? I just want to know. And he said, no, I'm not. I'm not trading you. And for a guy with as much experience as you have in the league, is that true? You just be straight with me. Let me know I can handle it. I'm a big boy.
That's what you would prefer. You would prefer someone to be straight with you. I feel like in any job, that's what you would hope to have happen, especially one like this one, performance-based on the field. But even then, like the amount of time I've had now, I understand they might be being straight with me in that moment. they may get a phone call they're not expecting to get from someone.
Yeah.
Right. I think a great example of that is a Craig Kimbrell and Justin B.J. Upton coming over here. I think the day before opening day in 2015, where Atlanta's like, no chance we're trading our guy. They get a phone call, we're making that trade.
Yeah.
So I just think keeping an open mind, appreciating the opportunities of where you are in the moment. A lot of guys ask me about, the many franchises that I played for now, the winning cultures. Timing's everything. If you get an opportunity to be a part of an organization who's in that moment of attempting to win right now, attempting to win today, then that's really all you can ask for. And a chance to win a ring means a lot.
No doubt.
I think that's the kind of like the big piece that I also try to share with people. What's it like to win a ring? Hell of a lot of sacrifice, hell of a lot of people being disappointed on a daily basis in a certain sense, but also the overall goal is to win that ring at the end of the year, and it takes every bit of that as well.
We're talking to Jason Hayward, and there are a couple of guys here that have one or two. Xander, Joe won one with Houston. They talk about bringing in guys who've won World Series before, not just the Dodgers, but of course you won the one with the Cubs. What can you do, though, in terms of, you have to kind of live it as well. You can't just tell guys how to win a World Series. They have to go through it themselves to get there.
That's a great point. You've got to go through it yourself. You have to live it. It's a blur. It's a blur. When it's all said and done, you're the team that holds a trophy. It's a blur. But I think, and I'm sure Joe can attest to this, even Bogey. But when you're in that game 7 in a World Series, when there's no tomorrow, that's what your whole season's based on. Hey, we got another chance tomorrow. Keep fighting, keep fighting. When you have no tomorrow, I think that's a whole nother thing that opens up and you tap into. But all in all, it is about the process. It is about the expectation. Some teams come into it, they're picked to win it. Some teams come into it and they're the Cinderella story. But I just think all in all, any opportunity you have to feel that moment, to get into October, you got to be in the dance to win it. These are stories and moments you can share for a lifetime, but especially with the players you come in contact with. And it's been cool to be able to tap into that with some guys that have asked and try to pick my brain.
Well, and this franchise is not as maligned as the Chicago Cubs were when you guys won that ring. I spent time in Chicago, went to college there. It's one of the best cities in the country. I know how passionate they are about their team. They sold out that stadium all the time with not great teams. They wanted it badly, and we do too in San Diego for sure. To win it for them, and then of course to the speech. Everyone talks about the speech that you gave, the rain delay. I mean, that I didn't really have. I was rooting for the Cubs because I was there, but the feeling of having a rain delay in a freaking World Series game and having to go back out and go out and win a ball game after what had just happened to Aroldis Chapman. I mean, it was the highest drama World Series in many, many years. The World Series will disappoint from time to time.
Absolutely.
That one did not. That one was as nerve-wracking. I can't even imagine what it was like to be a part of it. Like you said, it's a blur. But I'm sure the older you get and you reflect on it, you realize how special that was for that city.
100%. I guess starting with the rain delay, when I think about it now, the pitch clock, good luck.
Yeah, good luck.
Getting that in. Even if there's no rain delay, on my mind, I'm thinking, well, at least I have a chance, that day in 2016 to say something before we get back on the field. But right now, you don't have that opportunity as well. So, it was just timing was everything. I felt like that was the first time I had seen all year where that group could really use, hey, let's remember who we are. Let's not forget that. We've looked at every challenge we've taken on all year long.
The mood was pretty down.
The mood was down, and I think when something like that happens, a safety squeeze, someone's called to do something like that no one's thinking about, which is also what made Joe special. But when you have a guy who's already hit a home run in the game and Javi Baez off of a cutter pitcher and Kluber, same situation with Shaw right there, 3-2. That's just something no one was expecting, right? We can all say, hey, maybe Javi strikes out, maybe Dex flies out, lines out, whatever. That's something we can see the failure we're expecting. But just getting back on that rain delay situation, I was just like, let's just check in. Let's remember who we were, who we are. Every team has to overcome things that they're not expecting all year long, and we've done it the best. I don't know how it's going to finish, but let's do it that way.
Incredible stuff from Jason Hayward. Hope he's got a lot left in the bat, because you can tell he's got a lot of leadership left in the tank. That's
so
for
much
sure.
Experience and leadership.
Well, just like that, we're halfway home on this edition of Andy and Elsten. Hope you enjoyed the Padres Deep Dive Hour. We certainly enjoyed having Ben and Woods out at spring training. When we come back, all the news heading into the big sports weekend on the 12 o'clock Sports Fix here on The Fan. Brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you're craving gourmet tacos for lunch or a craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer for you. Now open at the Natural History Museum in Balboa Park, as well as Sorrento Valley. It's Friday. It's 12 o'clock. Why don't you just go to Craft Taco? You ain't got no job. You ain't got to do. So listen to the Sports Fix, at least while you're on your way there. Andy Halbern, Craig Elsten, Braden Soprenet here with you on 97.3 The Fan, barreling towards 2 p.m. when Gwen and Chris will join you right now. Final day of February.
Can't believe it.
As Braden just told us during the break, just 2 weekends away from daylight savings time. Yes. 2 dark weekends still to come. But first, your 12 o'clock Sports Fix Weekend Preview Edition. And he's got the baseball story that it might be small. I don't know.
It's pretty small. It's pretty random as usual. A lot of injury reports coming in now. So knock on wood, the Padres haven't had many of those. The Pirates are reportedly in agreement with Andrew Heaney on a 1-year deal that'll guarantee $5.25 million. Last year, he pitched for Texas to a 4.28 ERA while ranking second on the team with 160 innings. Mets infielder Nick Madrigal will require surgery on his fractured left shoulder. The recovery from that procedure will likely keep him out of action for the entire 2025 season. He dislocated his shoulder in Sunday's game when falling to the ground after making a throw to first base on a ground ball. The White Sox announced that outfielder Andrew Benintendi has a non-displaced fracture in his right hand and will miss 4 to 6 weeks.
A lot of money down the drain.
Yeah. He departed yesterday's spring training game after being hit by a pitch. And yes, it's the White Sox, but yeah.
How much is he getting again?
I don't know,
give me a
but
second.
lot, yeah.
He's getting only $17 million, but
that's all.
That's the most on the team.
The Tigers announced this morning that third baseman / outfielder Matt Vierling has been diagnosed with a strained rotator cuff in his right shoulder. He'll be shut down for a period of rest before being reevaluated for baseball activities. Manager AJ Hinch informed reporters that he will not be ready by opening day and will start the season on the injured list. And finally, Atlanta may be making more moves. They are the only team to report their earnings, and they did so. They made a $40 million profit for 2024, and as such, Braves chairman Terry McGurk said, hey, we spent above the competitive balance tax each of the last 2 years. It's possible we do it again this year. He added the team has some, quote, dry powder to add spending and implied that Atlanta could make a move in free agency this spring. And that is it.
All right.
You know, I saw some people compare the numbers for Atlanta and go, well, if Atlanta got this based on markets, what's it? But I believe somewhere in there they made, I think around $100 million on their local television deal.
Yeah, they make, I think, over $100 million on their television deal. They're still with FanDuel Sports, formerly Bally Sports, and they are the one of the only teams that FanDuel wanted to keep. They do really well. Plus, they were very smart about building out the Braves complex with like the restaurants and the hotels.
Yep, the battery.
And that also lends to money. So they've just done things a pretty smart way over there.
They own all that, don't they?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah. And that money goes back toward the team.
That's right, Mondo.
Good job, them. All right. Here's Braden.
NFL news had some news come down today. Rams and Matthew Stafford have agreed to a restructured contract that keeps the quarterback in L.A., the team announced Friday. The adjusted contract came after the Rams gave Stafford's agent, Jimmy Sexton, permission to speak to other teams about his value in the quarterback market. After discussions with the Raiders and the Giants about contract parameters, Stafford and the Rams were able to come to an agreement on a reworked contract. With Stafford remaining with the Rams, Giants are investigating all veteran quarterback options, including Aaron Rodgers, in their search for a veteran quarterback. Rodgers is set to be a free agent after the New York Jets announced earlier this month that they would be moving on from the quarterback after 2 seasons. The Giants, meanwhile, are currently on track to have exclusive rights. Free agent Tommy DeVito. Tommy Cold Cuts. As the only quarterback on the roster.
Hey, it's all you need when you got Tommy Cold Cuts. It's all you need.
You got to bring him back just for his family's tailgate spread.
Have him throw the gabagoo.
Team holds the number 3 pick in the draft, but general manager Joe Schoen has said this week that the NFL scouting combine that it would look under every rock to add a veteran as well. That search now appears to include Rodgers, 41-year-old 4-time NFL MVP, who's first New York run produced a 6-12 record as a Jets starter, torn Achilles tendon, and tension throughout the franchise.
He'll fit in perfectly with the G-men.
One of those players
Yes.
could be Shedeur Sanders. Could you imagine Aaron Rodgers and Shedeur Sanders on the Giants?
And then Dion looking over their shoulder.
Oh, my
Mhm.
God. That is nonsense. Put them on Hard Knocks,
Yes.
please. Shedeur Sanders didn't tone down his overt displays of confidence at Jackson State or Colorado. Now, as the draft prospect continues his path to the NFL, there's no reason to expect him to modify that approach. Speaking at the Combine Friday morning, Sanders made a bold prediction about the kind of impact he expects to make in the National Football League. We went from Jackson State to Colorado and changed 2 programs back-to-back, said Sanders, who played at both programs under his father, Colorado coach Deion Sanders. So you don't think I could come to the NFL, to an NFL franchise, and change that program? It's history. We've done it again. It's always going to repeat itself. Sanders' confidence was the theme of his media session per usual. He was also followed, as always, by a personal videographer documenting his every move.
Of course.
In Indianapolis, the source of Sanders' confidence, besides his father instilling it, is the college success he enjoyed, along with two-way starter Travis Hunter. Sanders helped turn around the Colorado's fate from a 1-11 team in 2022 before their arrival to a 4-8 team a year later, and then a 9-4 team in 2024, in which they were blown out by BYU in the Alamo Bowl. Turned it around. I'm sure they'll turn around the next franchise. I'm sure they could turn around the Giants.
I do want that to be videoed.
I want the Rodgers,
Hard Knocks,
Sanders,
yes,
Giants to happen.
Yes, so do I.
Oh my God, that would be must-watch television every week. Speaking of Hard Knocks, off-season Hard Knocks, which did feature the New York Giants last season.
How'd that do?
Didn't really work out for them. And I'm hoping it doesn't work out for this, at least for their first week. North Carolina football general manager Michael Lombardi acknowledged that the program under new coach Bill Belichick is considering a behind-the-scenes look at the team amid a report that the Tar Heels could be the focus of HBO's Hard Knocks offseason. There's a lot of conversations going on right now about that, Lombardi said on the Pat McAfee show on Friday. We've had a lot of offers from people all over to come in and look at our program and kind of do the behind-the-scenes things, but I don't think anything's yet been official or signed. Lombardi was asked about a front office report that North Carolina would be featured on the show that debuted last year with the New York Giants and is an offshoot of the long-running HBO series Hard Knocks. He said it would be a university decision, but he added that Hard Knocks does an incredible job.
Okay.
They also went on to say that they consider themselves the 33rd NFL franchise. So
what?
That's how they want to run their program. They're going to be the 33rd.
Oh,
They're the 33rd NFL franchise.
Don't set yourself up like
that's
that.
stupid.
They've been ranked twice in the last 20 years in the top 25. They open up with TCU over Labor Day weekend. So we'll see what the inside looks are.
Bill Belichick is going to be so short for that job.
Hard Knocks. We're the 33rd NFL
so
team.
short for that job.
33rd NFL team.
You know, this is potentially a gigantic strategic blunder, because the thing I'm expecting Bill Belichick to be at North Carolina is exposed for not being set to be a college football head coach. And what a great anti-recruiting tool than to let everyone see it on TV before he even plays a game. Also, you're doing it before you even play a game.
It's the off season.
Yeah, you're setting yourself up.
What are we here for?
So great.
Are we here to win, or are we just here for a brand advancement? You could have stayed in the Dunkin' Donuts ads. You could have stayed on Inside the NFL.
How many teams are in college athletics now there to win and not to be branded advancements?
Yeah, that's fair.
That's kind of what sports are nowadays. All about the brand and the personal brand. Last college, or a couple of college football news. College football teams could soon be charged with a timeout or a penalty for players faking injuries well after plays during games. The NCAA Football Rules Committee has proposed a timeout to be charged whenever medical personnel enter the field to evaluate players after the ball has been spotted for the ensuing play. Teams without timeouts would be assessed a 5-yard delay of game penalty for each instance. The proposal is among several that will go back to the schools and then go before the NCAA's playing rules oversight panel for possible approval in April. The other rule that they're thinking about putting in involves timeouts and overtime. Currently, both teams get a timeout per period of overtime, which is ridiculous. New proposal would be if they make it past 3 overtimes, you get 1 timeout left until the end of the game. I think that's fine. I don't really have any qualms about either of those. Texas Longhorns are raising football season ticket prices by $13 per game next season as the program, already one of the richest in the nation, tries to meet rising costs. Athletic Director Chris Del Conte announced the price increase this week in his annual campus town hall, where he detailed the program's expected finances upon final approval of a landmark $2.8 billion lawsuit settlement that lays the foundation for players to receive money directly from their schools. Texas will have nearly $30 million in new costs and about 200 new scholarships across all sports. Ticket price increase will help cover some of that. The increased scholarships will cost about $9.2 million, and the school plans to pay $20.5 million annually to its athletes. We plan to get to the full limit, Del Conte said. We're doing that because we want to maintain Texas as the best athletic department in the country. Texas was the only program to qualify for the college football playoff each of the past 2 seasons. Longhorns lost in the semifinal both years. They reported $332 million in operating revenue and $325 million in operating expenses in the 2024 fiscal year. The first time a top division public school had topped the $300 million mark in both categories. They're playing by a totally different brand of rules.
They're in their
How
own
much money do you think San Diego
arena.
State made in the local schools?
Not that.
I think it's close to $332 million. Now, it's not profit. They only have a couple of million in profit with $325 million in expenses for the University of Texas. Wow. That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
What do you think the expenses are for UCSD right now? That
as Patrick Ewing once famously said, well, we make a lot, but we spend a lot.
Yeah.
That is true.
For UCSD, less than that.
No, so like 300 million in operating expenses?
Well, I mean, less. Let's just say less.
I'm sure
there's the whole hiring freeze that's now. I mean, if you, the paper has been pointing out, you see, I mean, all these schools are in not a great spot.
And you're not so, and
you could just broaden that out.
All of the pay to play players, they keep going like, oh, the TVs are going to pay for it. No, they're not, dude. It's going to be in the ticket prices. You got to pay for these guys somehow.
Let's hit the local report. 1 day until match day. San Diego FC opens up Snapdragon Stadium to MLS soccer for the first time Saturday night. They begin a 17 home match schedule in Major League Soccer, taking on St. Louis City SC. Parking lots open for tailgates at 2:30 p.m. Gates open at 5:30 p.m. Kickoff set for just after 7:30 p.m. SGFC said they will have a special pregame ceremony that will start at 7 p.m. and invite fans to be in their seats at that point.
Yeah.
SGFC also says they anticipate the biggest crowd in the history of Snapdragon Stadium. The previous record was 34,000 and change for Manchester United against Wrexham. Let's see. Let's see if they get to 35. We'll find out by the end of tomorrow night. SGFC will also have a fan fest taking place outside the east end of the stadium from 3:30 to 6:30 p.m. And we'll chat all through it with Sal Zizzo at 1 o'clock and do a match preview there. And then, of course, Monday we'll have a full report. San Diego Gulls put their 7-game winning streak on the line tonight. They play host to the Coachella Valley Firebirds at Pechanga Arena, 7 o'clock faceoff. This should be a good test for the Gulls. They've moved within 5 points of a playoff spot. But the funny thing is they're still in 9th place in the 10-team Pacific Division. It's just tightened up a little bit more. But yeah, nonetheless, they're 17 points behind the Firebirds, who are 1 point out of first place. So this should be a good test. Can they keep the hot streak rolling? Meanwhile, last night at Viejas Arena, San Diego Mojo snaps out of their 6-match slide, gets back onto the winning side, beating Grand Rapids Rise 3-1.
Nice. The
Mojo host Columbus tomorrow night at 7 p.m. San Diego Clippers made it 3 wins in a row. They beat Indiana last night 110-100 at Front Wave Arena in Oceanside, and the same 2 teams will play tomorrow night. Tonight, they can keep the basketball court down. It's the CIF San Diego Open Division Championships at Front Wave Arena.
Good luck to all you.
At 5 p.m., Francis Parker will take on Mission Hills for the Girls Open Division Championship. At 8 p.m., it's the top 2 teams in a rematch in the Boys Open Division Championship from last year. It's Carlsbad against Montgomery.
Awesome.
Carlsbad featuring UCSD commit Jake Hall, who has scored over 3,000 points in section.
Oh my gosh, good for you, Jake.
Pretty incredible.
And really cool that they're playing at Front Wave. I mean, they're going to have that whole, nice swanky arena.
$17 tickets, $10 student tickets, $15 parking tonight at Front Wave Arena. If you want to go check that out, gosh, if I was closer, I would absolutely be checking out the Open Division Championship, which should be a really, really good game. It was a really good game last year. I heard the guys on Gwen and Chris talking about it Wednesday night in their high school basketball segment. Like, this should be an aces type game. So go check it out if you can. The 13-3 San Diego Sockers normally play at Front Wave Arena. They are on the road this weekend, taking on the Tacoma Stars tomorrow night in the Pacific Northwest. Saturday night is just chock full of activity, and SDFC is going to take all the bandwidth away Saturday night. But there are all these other teams going on in case you want to check that out. And outdoor soccer isn't your vibe. If indoor soccer is more your thing, Sockers play Tacoma on YouTube on Saturday night. Shout out an early happy birthday to top goal scorer Tavoy Morgan of the Sockers, who turns 30 tomorrow. San Diego Seals are off this weekend. The greatest shooter in NBA history is Steph Curry. Wrap it up. That's been done for a while. He put on another one of the kind of performances last night that you just can't take for granted. One of the best shooting nights in the history of the NBA. He erupted for 12 three-pointers, 56 points.
Wow.
And Golden State needed all of it. They came from behind on the road to beat Orlando 121-115. In fact, the Warriors were way down in this game, but Steph signaled what was to come by ending the first half with one of those 12 three-pointers. This one could have counted for 5.
Just typified the whole half. Steph from three-quarter court. Curry hits a three from beyond midcourt to end.
Yeah, from behind the logo.
Yeah,
that would be a where he.
That's insane.
Where he pulled up from would be a short three-pointer on the other side.
Yes,
he would never attempt a shot from there on the other side of the court.
I mean, you are so right. He is one step outside the opposing three-point line.
He should have just stepped inside the three-point line. Could have counted as another double three, 6-pointer.
He's so far out.
So
that's amazing.
I gotta watch it one more time.
So check this out. It was Steph's 45th.
Look where he is.
45th career game with at least 9 three-pointers. That is more, or as many. That's as many as the next 5 players combined.
Incredible.
With 9 three-pointers in a game. He's got 45. It was his 9th 50-plus point scoring game since turning age 30. That's the most in NBA history. He's got 2 more than Wilt Chamberlain.
Wow.
2 more than Wilt the Stilt. Unbelievable.
Was that guy good? Oh, yeah.
He was good.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
Not as good a shooter as Steph, though. Tell you that.
Hall of Famer waiting to happen.
No
right
one
here.
is.
I mean,
he's the best shooter in the history of the sport. No one has ever been a better shooter than Steph Curry. He's the best in the history of the sport. Don't you come at me with Larry Bird. Don't you come at me, with somebody else along the line. No, Steph is number 1 by a million miles. Now,
he was number 1.
If Larry Bird, was born the same time as Steph Curry,
right.
lived in the area of the three-pointer, would have been, I don't know, probably, but can't take anything away from Steph. Also last night in the association, LeBron scored 33, overcame a bad shooting night from Luka. That's what's going on now.
I've been thinking about the Lakers, and it's really been on my mind heavy. Ben, huge Lakers fan. You, huge Lakers fan.
Yeah.
Tony, huge Lakers fan. Yeah. Just why don't you guys have your own Lakers show?
Yeah, why don't you have a Lakers podcast?
Or just even a show? Why are we not broadcasting that?
We could have. Yeah, we could have.
Still can.
Hours of Lakers talk.
You could do it on like a Tuesday night.
It would be our favorite show.
I think it would be.
I think it would.
I think it really would be.
I think you guys need to do it.
You guys would have fun doing it. Yeah.
The Laker report.
New roundtable. Just one
Lakers roundtable.
One Thursday roundtable. You guys show up and the doors to the soundstage are locked.
That's right.
And it's just me and Ben and Tony in there.
I think that's great.
All in our Luka jerseys.
10 a.m.
all the time. Yes.
On Thursdays. 10 a.m. on Thursdays. The Laker roundtable.
That's right.
It would
and then
happen
we'll
once.
do the Padres roundtable from 11 to 12. We'd have to convince Ben and Wiz to stay for that, but and then we just have our show from 12 to 2.
I think that's a good call, especially the playoffs coming up soon.
Yeah.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Yeah.
We can have Randy's Donuts or some other LA sponsor.
That's right.
There you go. Pink's hot dogs.
Yeah, Pink's hot dogs. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Maybe what's that chili place? The chili burgers.
Tommy's?
Maybe Tommy Burger can sponsor the
Tommy
Laker
Burger.
Roundtable.
I hear you.
We're
This
on
all
to something
sounds-
here. Let's
okay.
broaden our horizons a little bit outside of San Diego County.
Well, anyways, Lakers beat Minnesota 111 to 102 in that particular game. Also, reporting around that game said that Nico Harrison, GM of the Mavericks, a week before he contacted the Lakers, reached out to Minnesota for an Anthony Edwards for Lucas swap.
Whoa.
And that the T-Wolves basically didn't believe it. And we're like, nah, come on. And then he went over to the Lakers, and the Lakers were like, hey,
Sure, why not?
come on in, Nico. Have a seat. Have you met Jeannie? Let's sit down. Let's open up a bottle of wine. Let's talk about it. I think we could get something done here.
He's like, okay.
Would you like to order a fancy dinner? Let's sit down and let's discuss this. What do you like? Let's do that first tonight. And then we'll talk more about it. What do you say?
Perfect.
Hey,
Worked out.
what can I do?
Tonight, the Lakers host the Clippers. Boston and Cleveland meet up again in the East. And Denver's at red hot Detroit. 3 great games tonight in the association. No goal for Alex Ovechkin last night. No goal. 5-2. Caps
No goal
lose
for you.
to St. Louis. Only 23 games left in the regular season for Washington. Ovechkin remains 12 goals behind Wayne Gretzky's all-time record.
He's coming to Southern California soon.
Maybe he'll
They
score
play the
3.
Ducks at the Honda Center very soon.
Well, you know what? That's not going to be an easy out because huge win for the Ducks last night. They
That's
beat
right,
Vancouver 5-2. Ducks in the playoff chase.
Only 6 points out.
I
Don't
know.
look now.
They're hanging in there.
And with them doing so well,
They
the
make-
goals
yeah.
get to keep their guys.
That's, you're not kidding.
This is the turnaround season the organization is needed.
Yes.
It's literally what
Finally,
happens.
they get it.
It's
Mhm.
literally what happens. If the top team is going great guns, they don't need anything from the bottom team. They drop some of the players who have been depth players back down to the bottom team. All of a sudden, the bottom team is filled up beyond the brim, overflowing with talent. Can't lose a match. And then then somebody gets crushed into the board.
Again.
Somebody gets punched in the hand. Somebody gets a high stick to the wrist. And then you got to call these people out.
They're playing hard. The coach said yesterday that he's excited that they're in the race. He said the players are actually checking the standings and looking at the scores, and they got some fire, and every game is even more important to them. So playing some good hockey, and they're excited to be out there, and that's a huge win against the Canucks last night.
Yeah.
Indeed, it was. Tonight, the Kings are at Dallas. The Ducks are off. And before we wrap up, got to shout out Jake Knapp. I've been watching this over your head, too, here, Annie. This is the Cognizant Classic PGA Tour stop in Palm Beach Gardens, Florida. Yesterday, Jake Knapp, this is way more rare than a perfect game in baseball. He became just the 14th golfer in PGA Tour history to shoot around under 60. He shot a 59.
Oh.
That was 12 birdies, no bogeys in one round. And in fact, Knapp had a 19-footer on 18 for eagle. And if he had made it, it would have been a 58, and that would have tied Jim Furyk for the lowest round in the history of the sport.
That's pretty incredible.
Well, he left a little short. He tapped in for 59. Nonetheless, one of the 14 greatest rounds in the history of the sport. Jake Knapp, first round of the Cognizant Classic. Now, today's the second round. What have you done for me lately? He's even par through 11 holes. He has no gain on in terms of average to par today. He was 12 under at the end of round 1. He's 12 under at the end of, or most of the way through round 2. He's got a 1-shot lead on the field.
Wow.
So incredible first round, though.
Yeah.
For Jake
One
Knapp.
for the books.
Yeah, got to shout him out because that's the way to do it. And that's it for the 12 o'clock Sports Fix. All done's for this February 28th, 2025. For the 3 folks who have been going back and forth because we had that Lakers chat, just dumping over and over. Just a brief reminder. Let's see. Ben, his grandfather was the team doctor of the LA Lakers, Robert Kurland. So he actually grew up around the Lakers. I grew up in Long Beach, and the Lakers were one of my absolute favorite teams, and there's no NBA team in San Diego. So I've maintained my Lakers fandom. Tony Gwynn Jr. grew up a Los Angeles Lakers fan. So for everyone who's like, oh, you're this, you're that, you're Dodger loving, this station's bad now. This station is this state. Guys, chill out. We're San Diego all the time. We have NBA in the fix only. It is a fact, though. I'm a Lakers fan, and I'm not going to hide from it, and I'm not going to back down from it. I will walk up with my chest out proudly that I'm an LA Lakers fan. So, enjoy it. I get it. Whatever you want to say, it's all cool for you. But I understand where my feet are in the ground, and I get it. No problem. Okay, let's take a quick time out.
We doing Manny next?
What do you think?
I think we should.
Then so we shall. Unanimous agreement.
It's the only time we can really
get it in.
There's no chance anywhere else.
Yeah.
Manny Machado next on 97.3 The Fan. Well, if you're a Lakers lover or a Lakers hater, or if you just enjoy another team entirely in the National Basketball Association, Underdog is the place that you can take your hot takes and convert them into cold cash. Maybe it's instead MLS that intrigues you, or the National Hockey League, or the PGA Tour. Whatever league you're looking for, Underdog is there for you with the opportunity to win up to 1,000 times your money. It's daily fantasy sports. All you need to do is create an entry with as few as 2 players. As many as 8 players have to come from at least 2 different teams, and you can pick higher or lower on one of their individual stats, like points in a game, or 3-pointers made for Steph Curry, or goals in an MLS match, or first half points. All of these things are available to you. So many different options. Millions of fans have won billions of dollars making picks on Underdog. You can too. All you have to do is download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code Craig, that's CRAIG, to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun. Sign up using promo code Craig. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 818-778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Do not forget to stay tuned at the top of the hour. That's when we will announce today's biggest fan at 1 p.m. and your chance to qualify potentially for a night in our Odyssey suite at a future Padres game. Hang on, have you not registered yet? You still have time, but time is running out. Register your name at 973thefan.sd.com/biggest fan. 973thefan.sd.com/biggest fan. That's the way to sign up.
This is the way.
Indeed it is. And the way to Manny Machado is directly in front of you as well, dear listener, because Manny sat down yesterday morning with Ben and Woods at Peoria in the sports complex on the back patio. And here's that conversation.
At ease this spring. Not that he was uptight last spring.
He was uptight last spring. Yeah, you can say it.
You know, with a new manager, with a new team, there certainly is a different dynamic than a guy coming back after a successful season with a contract extension. It's a different dynamic this year for Mike Schill.
Well, and again, you hear how his players are speaking about him. Guys that are sitting down talking about what he's done for them, and talking about Tyler Wade's interview yesterday, and he's letting the guys kind of do their thing, and he does seem a lot more at ease and less uptight this year.
All right,
for good reason, I think.
All right, as expected, Manny's going to be on his own time, so we'll just patiently wait here until he comes out.
I'll wait for Manny for 2 hours. I mean, and again, you don't want to get into a spot, and I don't think they are where they have to win that tournament to get the bid to the
hopefully not
NCAA tournament, but we will certainly see. Are we doing SDFC tickets today? Or are we doing?
We did it yesterday.
We did it yesterday,
but I would imagine we'll talk with our next guest, who's coming up right now, since he is one of the owners of the team.
Yes,
about SDFC and that fantastic debut performance on Saturday in their 2-0 win over LA Galaxy.
That was awesome.
He'll probably talk a little bit of baseball as well while he's sitting here, but it is our pleasure to welcome Manny Machado of the San Diego Padres.
Yeah.
What's here on 97.3 The Fan? Hi, Manny. How are you?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Doing good.
Yeah.
So
you guys brought the cold over here, huh?
I guess.
God,
it's all
it was
windy.
It was nice and hot. Now it's
hot.
cold.
You like it hotter out here?
Nah, I like it like this.
Like this.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah.
It sucks all the moisture out of you, this place. Arizona does every time.
It's tough.
It's tough,
It's
dude.
tough.
It's
Imagine
tough.
being here 6 weeks.
I can't do it. You and Sammy Lev, and those are the guys that are here the longest, man. So you look great, man. You're feeling great. The health is good. Family's good.
Everyone's good.
How's the baby boy?
He's awesome, man.
Is he?
He's awesome.
Getting
growing.
old?
Great. Keep getting old. Almost a year.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Time flies.
Awesome.
Getting into the routine.
Awesome.
There's a lot of routine when
Lot
it
of
comes to being
routine.
a parent.
Yeah, it's tough, because it's the routine between his life, obviously is changing, and then not getting into season now. It's a whole completely different animal. Going to the games at night or night games and naps during the day, and
That's you or him?
both.
Both.
Both. When he naps, I nap.
That's the rule. I told you that rule last year.
Absolutely.
When he naps, you nap.
Absolutely.
I try to do it now. Mine are 7 and 4. They don't nap much anymore. But my wife's like, "But you're still napping in the middle of the day, and that's a problem."
Hey, you got to take it in.
That's
You got to
right.
get your 30 minutes in.
Got to.
But for me, it's like 2 hours. So.
I know. I'm with you 100%. A lot's been made of it, and I know you've talked about it already this year, but coming into camp, well, and having an off season where you could go lift and do all the things that you need to do to get your body ready for a long season. We know how important it is to be on the field. What a load off for you this year. No surgery, no nothing. Just can go and lift and get strong and hit bombs.
Yeah, man, it was fun. It was fun, honestly. It's a grind, because obviously with the rehab and you have to do so much, just for your arm that you kind of sometimes don't even have time to, get your body going. And then on top of that, there's a lot of things I couldn't do last year because of my elbow, right? I couldn't squat, I couldn't load up anything, I couldn't really grip. So, because I'm obviously trying to get the strength back. So there's a lot of things that I had to kind of change, but a lot of good that I learned from that as well, that I kind of incorporated into my workout this year and kind of got better at, that I wasn't really as good with the flexibility side of some lifts. So, yeah, man, just having an off season was a normal off season was pretty nice to have.
I know spring training results mean less than nothing, but first pitch home run last
How
Friday,
about that?
Yeah,
you
I'm
wanna
getting back
take
to my
one?
old self. Nah, I'm swinging. I hack, bro. I don't take. They don't pay me to walk.
I don't even know who the pitcher was. I don't remember. Sorry, like you're gonna let me get one over just before you're gonna take.
He
one
told
over
me, he's like, I saw him after walking off the field. He's like, "Come on, man, I'm trying to make a team over here. You already made it, so let me get one." Yeah, trying to be back.
I remember getting into a debate with somebody online, shocker, last year, and oh man, he needs to see more pitches, and I'm like, bro. I like pulled your numbers on the first pitch, and they're pretty nasty. I mean, you go up there and hunt and looking for something to drive. We've never actually sat and talked hitting with you, and I love to watch you hit. And I watch it, and you don't tinker much. You're not a big tinkerer. Like you kind of stick with what got you here, I would imagine. But so, what do you work on? Like when you go talk to Victor and stuff, and you guys are working in the cages in season, before the season, during the season. What are you doing in there?
All right, so so last year, I don't tinker a lot, right? I stick to what my strength is, and it's the swing, right? When I chase a little bit. I've gotten better over the years without chasing. My numbers, my walk numbers have gotten up a little bit over the years. I think that's just more mental side of things, right? Of you just kind of getting smarter, knowing what the pitchers are doing to you, right? But as a mechanical side of things, I kind of stick with my strengths, right? Staying inside the ball, hitting the ball to right field, line drives, let the ball, have high extension at the end. Last year with my swing, I kind of had to change a lot of things. My elbow wasn't allowing me to get into the slot I wanted to get into, which was previously from the previous injury from the years prior was the same thing happening to me. I was kind of going around the baseballs, couldn't really stay inside the ball. I couldn't really, get into the slot that I wanted to. So everything was kind of coming around, and same thing happened last year when the season started. So me, Vic and Burke kind of like, we kind of just sat down and kind of like try to reinvent the wheel a little bit and try to just see what worked. We're middle of the season, so you can't really hold on, I'm going to stop and take a 2-week vacation. No, it's you got to kind of just trying to figure it out on the fly. And, we kind of tweaked a couple things and kind of just ended up working for me. And now that I had a good off season, got back to my roots, using my one-hand bat that I couldn't use prior just because of the strength and the elbow purpose. But now I'm able to get back into my slot. I'm in a better slot position. I'm able to create those angles that I wanted to with my barrel and kind of be my old self.
Yeah, you're being honest with us right now, which you wouldn't have been last year when we asked you how you're feeling. You would have said, I'm fine. I'm doing fine, because you don't talk about injuries. You don't like talking about injuries, but clearly they have an impact on everybody in the game. And it makes a difference going into the season, obviously, for you like this, feeling healthy, like not like you did last year, recovering from the surgery.
Yeah, it feels good, man. Like getting back to, being able to stay inside the ball well, and my elbow being able to do things that I wasn't able to do before. I mean, it still hurts every once in a while. I'm not going to lie. I mean, it's part of it, but I mean, your whole body hurts at this point. I'm in spring training 2 weeks in, my body hurts, my joints are already aching, and but that's just part of the grind, man. I think that's the beauty of baseball, and why I love it so much. It's just the aches and pains that this game.
You're gonna love your 40s then.
You're gonna love your 40s. It's the 40s. Best.
32s are not feeling great so far.
32s.
So I got 9 more left.
Yeah. I mean, why anybody ever throws you a fastball in the inner part of the plate is beyond me, but it does happen.
It's crazy you brought that up, right? Because it's like I was looking at it the other day. I'm like, man, how, like the first couple lives that we had against our pitchers, I'm like taking, right? And I'm like 0-2 right off the gate. I'm like, God, like, what's going on? Like 0-2, boom. Then it's next pitch, slider down. I take it. I'm like, all right, that's for sure a ball. The guys in the back, obviously, all pitchers behind the net.
Of course,
they have the freaking little iPad, and they're like, yeah, it's a strike. I'm like, here you go.
I saw 3 pitches.
I'm like, you couldn't even get a swing out. So after that, I'm like, man, like after the third time, I'm like, I had like 7 at bats. I had like 5 punchies, all looking, and I'm like, forget that.
I'm not doing this.
Swinging.
I'm swinging.
I'm swinging.
That's
who I am.
It is who you are. And you go back and you look at your numbers every year, and you talk about 30 and 100, 30 and 100, 30 and 100, 30 and 100. And I was looking at him this morning, and I'm like, the dude you can almost take it to the bank. So for you, I think the most you hit in the season, 37. And again, I know you're not up there looking to hit a bomb. You're looking to hit those gaps. You're looking, that right center gap is where that's when you're going right center, everyone knows, oh God, he's locked in. Like he's locked in. He's going to be locked in for a couple weeks. For you, do you look at things like that and go, 30 is great, but 40,
absolutely.
32.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely want to hit that number.
Yeah.
It's a number I never hit. So yeah, for sure. I mean, that's on my radar, kind of want to go back and win a Gold Glove again. It's been a while since I won one. So,
which is ridiculous in its own right.
Yeah. I mean, it's politics in this world. But I mean, it's a good number. It's a big number. Petco's a little harder to do it in our division. It's a big ballpark, so I think you got to give and take, but I mean, it's doable for sure.
Well, we politicked hard for Jackson Merrill and Mike Schill. The best we can do is get you a runner-up, I think, Gold Glove Award, apparently.
Yeah, we did. I mean, God.
We'll try as best as we can. I want to ask you talked about, facing your own pitchers during spring training. At the end of the day, they're your teammates. You want success for them. But here you're kind of going up against them. We saw Nick Pivetta and Fernando Tatis Jr. going at it yesterday. What's it like when you're going up against your own guys and trying to, because you got some really good pitchers on this squad.
Yeah.
Obviously.
I mean, it's fun, man. It's a friendly competition, right? I mean, it's something that we could get back and pushing each other on things. There's a lot of feedback that goes into these. We kind of give them feedback on like, hey, how this pitch is doing this pitch is doing that. They're also testing out pitches, so there's a lot of feedback we could give them. But at the end of the day, some bragging rights go. That kind of stays the whole year. You could always go back to that bomb that you hit off some guys.
We got a few
or
more,
the punchies.
Got a few more questions.
Hey, well, if you want to hear a few more questions, you can hear the full interview at 97.3thefansd.com. But we appreciate Ben and Woods. Great job all week. Great
Absolutely.
job, Padres, all week. Padres PR, kicking butt, doing the very best they could. Thanks to all the stars for making the time to sit down. I think one of all of our favorite weeks of the year when the boys are out of spring training.
Yeah, great stuff, and got a lot of interviews, a lot of insights. So probably excited to come back to San Diego for them, but I think they had a great week out there.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's time for our silly game today. That's Mind the Gap. This is the last chance to try and qualify to go see Motley Crue and stay at MGM Live. Give us a ring right now, 833-288-0973. We need one contestant to play Mind the Gap, 833-288-0973. Give us a call right now. We come back, we play silly games next on The Fan. Motley Crue has announced a brand new Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM March 28th to April 19th. You can get your tickets to Motley Crue, the Las Vegas residency at Dolby Live at Park MGM now at Ticketmaster.com, or win today's game of Mind the Gap and become the final qualifier to get 2 tickets to the show plus a hotel stay at Park MGM. It's time to play Mind the Gap, the game of multi-generational trivia. And joining us, Jamie in San Ysidro. Hello, Jamie. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, everybody? Save the best
Jamie?
for last.
Indeed. We have saved the best for last because you're the best, Jamie. Tell us a little
If
bit
I
about yourself other than your superiority.
I meant if I win, but anyways, that's kind of bad. I'm going to say nothing. I'll just dig myself a deeper hole. Let's leave it at that.
It's all good, man. It's all good. Today's game is Mind the Gap. Here's how it works. Our quizmaster, Braden Suprenant, has 4 different buckets of trivia divided up by generation. Boomers, Gen X, Millennials, or Gen Z. You are going to go first, and then you and I will alternate picking one of those buckets. Braden will then reach in there. He's got some subcategories for you, such as TV and radio, TV and music, headlines, slang, so on and so forth. He'll give you those. You'll be asked a question. If you get it right, you've cleared the category. You're done. If you get it wrong, I have the opportunity, if I have not cleared that bucket myself, to try and steal. Same thing for you. If I get one wrong and you have the chance, you can steal. We go back and forth until one of us has answered one question correctly. In Boomer, Gen X, Millennial, and Gen Z, that person is the winner. Only other thing you need to know, Jamie, is you have 2 lifelines in the game. One time you can ask Annie for help. One time you can ask Braden for help. And they usually are pretty helpful along the way. Any questions?
Oh, sir.
All right, buddy.
All right.
The game begins. The field is open. You've got Boomers, Generation X, Millennial, or Gen Z. Where would you like to go?
Let's go Millennial.
All right.
All right. TV and
we'll do
movies.
TV.
TV and movies. This popular 2005 romantic comedy had an all-star cast with Will Smith, Kevin James, Eva Mendes, and Amber Valletta.
Oh, I remember it.
I actually do know this.
I do too.
Oh, you could use a lifeline here. They both know it.
I don't want to use the lifetime, but I don't have to because I can see the movie. I can see all those guys in it.
Okay.
He's a matchmaker, and his name is. Well, I better use a lifeline, I guess. Let's go with Annie.
You said 2005, right?
Yep.
Hitch.
Hitch is correct.
Hitch.
Hitch.
Craig, your turn.
Good job, Jamie. I'll go Gen X.
What do you want?
Slang.
Slang. What television host ended each episode? Champagne wishes, the caviar dreams.
Oh, yeah. Lifestyles of the rich and famous. Champagne wishes and caviar dreams. Oh, my God. I'm going to know the name. I hope you can steal it, Jamie, because I can't. Oh, it's going to come to me. All right. I've too much time.
Jamie, do you have any idea?
What was the question again? I cut out there for a second.
What television host ended each episode? Champagne wishes and caviar dreams.
That's it.
Yes.
Oh, my Lord.
That's
See
it.
his face. I can hear his voice.
Me too.
Need an answer.
I know. I'll go.
Robin Leach.
Yeah, Robin Leach.
All right, Jamie,
I
your
knew it.
turn.
Yeah, we got to keep it
Gen
moving.
Z, Gen X, or Boomer?
Let's go Gen X.
Gen X. What category would you like?
Let's go with headline.
Headlines. A shipyard strike in 1980 eventually led to the solidarity movement and freedom from a Soviet-backed communist regime in this country.
I'm going to say Afghanistan.
Poland.
Poland would be the correct answer.
All right, I steal and I'll go
Steal.
Boomer.
Boomer. What do we got?
Slang.
What did the terms hawks and doves mean in the 60s?
War versus peace.
Yes, war versus those who opposed it.
Still to this day, people say,
Hawks
"Oh,
and
you're a
doves?
hawk. That means you want to go to war," or a dove, you want peace. Yeah.
I mean, I knew doves were peace, but I didn't realize.
Yeah.
That. Okay, continue.
All right, Jamie, you got Boomer, Gen X, or Gen Z? 2-1 Craig right now.
Let's go Gen Z.
Gen Z category.
TV.
TV and film. Disguised as Monster, what rapper known for hits like Bartender and I'm in Love won the first season of The Masked Singer?
Oh my Lord, Annie.
I'm
Annie
already.
was out
You've
there.
already used me. You got to
You've
go
been
with
used up.
slang, Jamie. It's.
We might have to
it's
put
too
a
late.
we might have
It's
to
too
put a
late.
cap on.
Yeah.
You might have
Okay.
to only use one category per on the future shows.
Why?
All right, Masked Singer season 1 winner is essentially what we're looking for, right?
Yes.
That is correct. I'm in love with the stripper. Bartender. Disguised
I remember
as
that
Monster.
song. I'm in love with the stripper.
Yes,
Do you know this, Braden?
I do.
Okay, use your lifeline
your
on
lifeline,
Braden.
Jamie.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm using my lifeline with Brayden.
there you go.
T-Pain.
Yeah, that's right.
T-Pain.
2-2. Give me millennial.
Oh.
All right, category.
The middle one. Headlines.
Headlines. This NBA superstar scored a record 81 points, second highest in history during a single game in 2006.
You know it.
Got the NBA, got the
Give me the-
Lake, got the
Yeah, you
Lakers
got the
headline.
right.
Give me the Lakers
Wow.
Kobe question, please.
Wow, what a draw!
All right, Jamie.
Universe, man.
Boomer or Gen X for you, Jamie?
Gen X headlines.
All right, headlines. What legendary home in Memphis opened to the public in 1982? I know this one too.
Walking in Memphis.
Wasteland.
Graceland
right.
is correct.
All right, it's 3-3, but give me Gen Z. I got the first crack at it. Gen Z headlines.
In 2012 and in the 2012 and 2016 Olympics, Katie Ledecky won 5 gold medals and 1 silver. Which sport did she
Swimming.
dominate? Swimming.
Let's go.
She's very good.
Jamie, excellent fight. Excellent fight. The steal wound up being the difference today. 4-3. Craig gets the
Sorry,
win.
Jamie.
That means that the field of original qualifiers is protected and heads into the drawing over the weekend. Good luck to all. We're going to take a timeout, come back with the last hour of the week of the Annie and Elsten show. And we're going to kick it off with an SDFC home opener match preview. Sal Zizzo, former captain of San Diego Loyal. He will join us next on The Fan. 1 p.m. on the Fan. You know what time it is. All you biggest fan entrants.
Start manifesting.
Time to see if your manifestation has come to pass.
Mm-hmm.
It is time to announce today's biggest fan, Matthew Martin from San Diego.
Matthew Martin.
Give us a call back, Matthew Martin, in the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, 833-288-0973. You will qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. Remember to register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. But Matthew Martin, got 9.5 minutes now, brother. Give us a call, 833-288-0973. Barreling toward the weekend, Gwen and Chris check in at the top of the hour. Padres baseball at 5:30 as the Padres take on the Mariners in Peoria. And then, of course, tomorrow night at 7:30 at Snapdragon Stadium. They expect 35,000 in the house for SDFC and St. Louis City SC. Let's get you locked in for the match. We are happy to welcome back to Annie and Elsten. He had previously joined us for MLS 101 segments in the past. Former MLS player, Bundesliga player, San Diego loyal captain, and still San Diego resident, Sal Zizzo, joining us here on Annie and Elsten to chat some SDFC. Sal, Craig, and Annie here with you. Great to have you on, man. How you been?
I've been good. Thanks for having me once again.
The pleasure is ours, my friend. Well, it's got to be a long time coming for you. Looking ahead to Saturday night, Patrick Henry High School growing up, UCLA, still SoCal, off to Bundesliga, off to MLS, off to USL. What does it mean to you personally just to know MLS is not just here, but it's happening tomorrow?
I mean, it's just so cool to see the MLS come to the city of San Diego, something that I feel like, right, we've been waiting for forever. I mean, I remember back in I think it was 2009, 2010, when I was at Chivas USA, there was even rumblings back then like, San Diego will get one eventually, and here we are 15 years later. And now is the opening day. Pretty cool to see. I mean, there's that part of me that's like so jealous that I just wish it was around, when I was in my playing career, but nevertheless, super excited. I'll be there with my wife, to be there for the first game at Snapdragon.
Well, Sal, SDFC won their first ever game. They defeated the LA Galaxy, as you know. What did you take away from that first game? What stood out to you about their style of play and the way they were able to get the win?
Yeah, I mean, I think the game overall, was eye-opening to a lot of people, not just in the city of San Diego, but nationwide, really. Because, there's tons of pundits that, didn't necessarily give SDFC a lot of respect, people claiming they would, be 14th or 15th in the conference. And so nothing better than to go to, the reigning MLS champions home and take it to them, right, and beat them 2-0. Now, I do think the Galaxy isn't the same team that won MLS Cup, right? I do think they need to change a lot over there, and they did change a lot. I don't know if they needed to, actually, but they did change a lot, and in somewhat of a negative way. Now, that doesn't discount what SDFC was able to do, right? They possessed the game, I think, up until the opening goal for San Diego. I think they were out possessing the Galaxy at least 60%, which, goes to show you that they came there wanting to play their style of football, and they were able to do it in a tough environment, right? Regardless, any game on the road in the MLS is not going to be easy. So with that being said, really good performance. They got the result, but I do expect this next game against St. Louis, I do expect them to maybe come at them a little bit more and maybe press them a little bit higher up the field, much like the Galaxy kind of did in the last 30 minutes, which kind of led to that counterattack goal to seal it for San Diego.
Talking with Sal Zizzo here on Annie and Elsten. And, Sal, you talked about style of play. I heard Tyler Heaps, sporting director, on with Ben and Woods earlier this morning. He mentioned that part of the reason why maybe some of the pundits were low on STFC coming in is that they have a lot of international players. They have a lot of players who were making their MLS debuts. So maybe they weren't as well known around MLS circles. However, some of those players, and I'm really thinking back even to the first players that Annie and I had the chance to talk to, Marcus Ingvartsen, Jeppe Tverskov, they came from FC Nordsjælland. They came from a right to dream system. And it really feels like those guys are helping to install that right to dream style, which we're now finding out what that is. It's not just the aspirations of being an academy and becoming a great selling club. It's high pressure, it's possession, it's being intricate, it's being attacking, it's having a lot of dynamic flow. And I think if they can keep that up, Sal, if they can keep that style up, even if the results middle out a little bit, I think it's going to be very attractive to a lot of fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think that you touched on it just right there. I mean, the hardest thing to do, especially as an expansion team, right? But even teams that have been around forever in the league, usually the ones that fail are ones that you kind of question, you know, when you're watching a game, what's this team trying to achieve? What's their identity? Because you don't really see it in a lot of teams. And so for San Diego to come out and say, look, it doesn't matter who we're playing, home and away, we're going to impose, we want the game to look like, you know, what we expect it to look like, which is going to give us our best chance to win. And of course, you know, the two players there from Denmark that help the team and almost our other, you know, coaches on the field, right, to help create that style of play. And it's up to them. It's up to the coach, Mikey Varas, who, you know, is able to instill that all together. And, you know, they're able to come up with that identity much quicker than, say, you know, a team that comes into the league without really that background that San Diego has with Right to Dream. And so for sure it helps that they're able to, basically they know the style, right? Some of these kids in Varston that you mentioned at forward, right? He's been playing in the system since I think he was 9-10 years old. So, I mean, right there, that's a huge leg up, and he's able to not only, you know, use it for himself, but also then start to spread that amongst the team. And if players have questions, they go to him maybe and the coach, and it just all kind of comes together, you know, much quicker than it typically would.
Sal, they got off to a great start, but it is a long season. What do you think some of their challenges might be going forward?
Well, one challenge that I foresee is, you know, they do have a lot of veteran players, but in, you know, the global realm of soccer, MLS is a different beast, and it affects everybody in different ways. There are some, you know, Boateng and Godoy that come to mind that have played a lot of MLS games and they know the league, but travel, you know, is something that, you know, gets the best of everyone at some point during the season. And I actually don't think San Diego has been on an airplane yet as a team, right?
Right.
So they haven't been on an airplane at all. Their preseasons have been in San Diego, then at the Coachella Valley, and obviously their away game being in Los Angeles. Those are all, you know, places that you bus to. So after this week, they got on the road, right, at altitude at Salt Lake. You know, that'll be, you know, a tough test, obviously, but not to look ahead, right? One game at a time. They got the home opener, which is a big one against St. Louis. And like I said, I think St. Louis is going to come out and really test them a little bit more than Galaxy did. And it's kind of weird to say because, look, St. Louis was playing on the road, Galaxy was playing at home, but for whatever reason, you know, that game went the way it went. But I don't think St. Louis is going to allow San Diego to kind of get into the rhythm that they were able to in LA.
Well, that's a good match preview for SDFC St. Louis, 7:30 coming up at Snapdragon Stadium tomorrow. I'm just curious, Sal, in your opinion, where are the toughest road venues in MLS? Where are the toughest places to play?
I mean, it's usually a combination of, right, weather, but also, you know, form of the team that you're playing. I mean, I remember in my early days in the MLS going to Houston, you know, in the peak of summer, sometimes playing these, you know, mid-afternoon games, and you're just like, oh my gosh, it feels like 110 degrees. It's like you're walking into a furnace and you're playing a game. And so when, you know, that is hard. And then if they're a good team on top of that, I mean, it's just, it's a recipe for disaster. I've been in lots of moments. Obviously I played at Kansas City a few years later, but also that being a really tough venue to go to. Any place for me that was hot and humid, and then you're going the very next week, you're traveling to Colorado or Salt Lake, and the ball's, you know, staying a little bit longer in the air and it's flying a little bit faster, and you're playing a snow game in March or in April. And so the different factors of the elements of weather, I would say, is a huge factor on how tough these road games can get. And then obviously the short weeks, right? Sometimes you're playing on a Saturday, then you're flying for a Wednesday. And those are the type of games that I think San Diego is going to start to get tested on, right? We haven't seen their depth yet. We don't really know what their team's going to look like when they start playing midweek games. The travel's a little bit shorter, we'll see. But there's nothing better than what they just did, right? And that's start off the season off the right foot and get that road win where no one really expected them to get a result.
You've mentioned St. Louis a bit and how they might present a different challenge. Can you give us just a little bit more of a scouting report on them and what they're bringing to the table?
Yeah, I mean, they're a team, right? They came into the league a few years ago, and they were similar to what, us as the San Diego team would hope for. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were a team that came in and got first in the West in their first season, and everyone was like, whoa, where'd this team come from? And at the time, they were playing that high aggressive soccer, really pressing the game. And almost at the time, they had come in because the coach was from the New York Red Bulls, who was actually my assistant coach at the time. So he came in with the high pressing mentality to really push. They did have a down season last year, took a step back, but I don't think that part of their game is changing, right? They want to be the aggressive team. They want to put pressure on the ball. So in that sense, it's going to be hard. I don't think they're going to say, let's go to San Diego. They beat Galaxy 2-0. Let's just let them have the ball. Let's let them dictate. Because if they do that to San Diego's going to take advantage of them, right? That's exactly where they want them. So I do think they're going to come at them, but, San Diego's playing at home. Let's see how Snapdragon, galvanizes these boys and gets them going.
I love it, man. And yeah, if we've got two teams that are both trying to high press, two teams that are both trying to turn the other over, that could mean that you've got a lot of chances. It could lead to a very exciting match. Last thing for you, Sal, before we let you go, just overall, like, from your perspective, what does a good first year for SDFC look like? Obviously, we'd love to win the West like St. Louis City did a couple of years ago, or have LAFC's level of incredible success as an expansion team. But just kind of looking at the whole picture, being realistic, what does that look like to you? And how much does it change if in the summer window KDB comes to town?
I mean, yeah, I think it's hard to say, hey, look, if we finish, in this place, that'll be success or that won't be success, right? I think you have to look at it more as, is the ball rolling as a franchise in the right direction, right? I mean, this team is constructed the way it is right now. I don't know if in 5, 6, 7 years, it will look like this. I think you're going to start to see a lot more kids from the city of San Diego that get integrated in the first team. The Right to Dream way is to, build from within and create those superstars from within, right? And so right now you're creating a team. Everything's a little bit different, but what is success in the first year? I would say, yeah, pushing the ball down, rolling it in the right direction. But if I'm talking, logical terms here, I would say every team should be striving to at least make the playoffs in their first year. I wouldn't say with how many teams make the playoffs in the MLS, I wouldn't say, hey, that's out of reach or, hey, that's unrealistic. I think playoffs are definitely a possibility.
Sal Zizzo, man, hope to lean on you as the year goes on and as this campaign continues. Really love the soccer conversation. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the match with the family tomorrow.
Thanks, Sal.
All right. Thank you. See you guys.
Appreciate it. Great stuff from Sal Zizzo.
Going to run into a lot of people, I think, there tomorrow, right? A
Oh,
lot
yeah.
of people waiting for this, and a big soccer community that's probably been planning for this day for a while.
And it's just cool to have so much MLS expertise here in San Diego. There's a guy who played, over a dozen years in the league, was played overseas, was brought back, was a number 1 pick in an expansion draft. Like he's been through all of this.
Yeah.
So it's going to be cool as we all become and kind of grow into, get our MLS shoes worn in, having someone along.
Patrick Kenny High too.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
San Diego native, did go to UCLA. It's fine. It's fine. Let's take a break. When we come back, Media Melanie will join us Missed her last week because we got off early. She's standing by with a streaming television recommendation that you can use for the weekend that will be. That's up next on Annie and Elsten Friday edition here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Greg Elsten here for Underdog, the place to play daily fantasy sports. You want to win up to 1,000 times your money? You can do it with Underdog, now available to play in the state of California. How do you do it? It's very straightforward. You pick in a given day. Actually, it could be over multiple days, too. They give you every option possible. Minimum of 2 players, no more than 8. Has to be from at least 2 different teams, but it could be from 2 different leagues for that matter. You could have one NHL idea that you feel great about and one college basketball idea that you feel great about, and you could put them together and create an entry in Underdog. You're picking higher or lower on somebody's individual stats like points, assists, rebounds, goals, 3-pointers, what you can think of, they've got it for you on Underdog. All you have to do is download the Underdog app and sign up now using the promo code CRAIG, CRAIG, to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun. Sign up with promo code CRAIG. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. 122 on the Fan. Welcome back. Annie and Elsten here with you. Beautiful week. Spring training rolling. Heading to March. Starting tomorrow. All of a sudden, we're in MLS season. Then Wave come crashing in just 3 weeks later. We've got, we're 2 weeks from the college basketball conference tournaments, right?
Some of them start this weekend.
Oh, that's right. For some of the smaller leagues, right?
Yeah. And then next Thursday starts the West Coast Conference Tournament.
Wow.
And then I think the Big West is not too far behind.
So, we're really down to it, down to the last 3-4 regular season games.
That is correct for most of the leagues.
Yeah. And then, boom, right on in.
Yeah.
2-3 weeks from now, everything's going to be crazy, go nuts.
It's going to be very active. Should be very fun.
But, through all of that, it's all these sports things, but, can't watch sports all day, can't watch sports all weekend. At some point, you got to go to your handy dandy viewing list and scratch, I don't know, maybe the top thing off that list. Maybe, knock off the top one and then go down the list. I'm not speaking about anyone in particular, just, in general, people who have viewing lists and things on top.
Oh, yeah.
That they might have neglected for months
and months.
Months and
maybe
months.
years even.
Yeah,
Where it continues
Lists
to
just keep
add
going longer. Yeah,
and
it's like
longer.
a CVS receipt now.
Yes.
Well, Media Melanie is always happy to join us Fridays at 1:20 to add to the list and give you something to view, give you a streaming recommendation for the weekend to come. Here's Media Melanie on the Annie and Elsten Show. What's up, Melanie?
Hey, what's up? Happy Friday. Excited for the weekend. And, Craig, just in general, 2025 TV so far has been really, really solid. So it's great to be here and share some recommendations.
Appreciate it. I've been trying to catch up on some stuff over the course of the last 2 weeks, Media Melanie. So all I've got for you is a re-recommendation on the back end. But what do you have for the audience today?
Well, as a matter of fact, I went for an existing show, and I've actually mentioned it here before back in the second season, but Reacher on Prime Video is now back for season 3. And something I just really appreciate about this show is the expedient turnaround time between seasons, because we've got shows like Severance with 3 years in between them, but Reacher, they are just busting out season after season, which is really great. So it's back pretty fast for this 3rd season, and it is an action-packed crime thriller based on the book series by Lee Child. Craig, I know you've actually read the books as well.
Mm-hmm.
And there's also a Jack Reacher film from 2012 starring Tom Cruise. This TV adaptation centers on Reacher, who is played by Alan Richardson, former military U.S. Police officer, total badass, current drifter, who essentially fights different factions of bad guys and criminals in his travels. And so far, season 3 is streaming the first 4 episodes. It's taking inspiration from the Persuader novel, and it throws Reacher into a dangerous undercover operation. The action kicks off in Maine. Reacher steps into a kidnapping, but ends up mistakenly shooting an undercover officer. He's determined to set things right and expose a larger criminal conspiracy, teaming up with a DEA agent, and gets inside this criminal world of Zachary Beck, who's played by Anthony Michael Hall, suspicious businessman. Yes, love Anthony Michael Hall. He's got a great resume. And Reacher's here to kind of investigate and locate a missing informant and face off against a familiar foe from the past, Xavier Quinn. This season does a good job of weaving in present-day events. It infuses some flashbacks, gives us a deeper look into Reacher's past, more context into the current storyline, and these glimpses into the past add this kind of emotional weight to Reacher's relentless quest for justice. And Craig, new episodes arrive every Thursday. There are a total of 8, so we're about halfway through the season, and the finale will stream on March 27th. I think we can expect plenty more twists, high-stakes battles, and Reacher's signature brand of justice here. And it's already renewed for season 4. This franchise has been a goldmine for Prime Video, and really, I don't see it stopping anytime. I would not be surprised if we see season 5, 6, and beyond.
There's 30 books, so.
Exactly. I mean, when is it going to stop? It's, it hasn't gotten old so far, so I guess keep it going until, viewership wanes.
I think I'm just looking at the Wikipedia. I think Persuader was the first Reacher novel I read. And it was literally like something that was found at a swap meet and given to me. If you ever want to get into the Jack Reacher series, go to Kobe's. Like, you could probably get a dozen books for $5, or something along those lines, and get yourself set up. But yeah, great choice. Laundry folding, straightforward, but exciting. And Reacher going around the country on bus with a wad of cash and a toothbrush in his pocket. And that's it. When he's tired of the pair of clothes he wears, he throws them in the bin and he buys another pair. That's Jack Reacher. I love it. In a similar vein, Media Melanie, I will just discuss the show that I've been catching up on, which is also a popular recurring series that also has a really quick turnaround time in between seasons, which is deeply satisfying, and also comes from a series of so-called airplane bookstore type books. And that's Slow Horses, which you, of course, recommended last year in this segment here, Media Melanie. I didn't realize, I thought I was a season behind on Slow Horses. And I kind of got through the stuff I got through. I finished the first season of Night Agent. I started the second season. I immediately dropped it. And I'm like kind of casting about what do I want to watch? Paradise didn't stick with me, so I'm not sticking with Paradise. And I went, I think I'm a season behind on Slow Horses. Why don't I knock that out? And then I found out I was 2 seasons behind on Slow Horses. But given that they have now 4 seasons of only 6 episodes each, I think it's one of the most digestible, fun spy romps that exists in our current TV streaming situation, based on the series of Slow Horses novels by Nick Herron. Slow Horses follows the ragtag loser group of spies in Great Britain's MI5 spy agency, like their CIA. These are the people who got in trouble, blew an assignment, did something wrong, and they have been banished to Slough House, which is where they keep all the bad spies. And the leader of the bad spies is Gary Oldman, who just leans into his role of being stinky and profane, but also the smartest person in the room. He's the only person who really doesn't belong there, and is always one step ahead. I tell you what, I think the reason I wanted to bring it up, Melanie, and you know this very well, is that show is such a firecracker. It just clicks and it clicks. And I easily watched one 6-episode season in a weekend.
Easy to do with that show. It is great. And like you said, too, it comes back fast season over season, which is just makes for a great watch overall.
Indeed it does. So check it out. 2 great options right there for you. Reacher, which is streaming on Prime. And of course, Slow Horses is on Apple TV. In fact, my buddy Rafi, TV writer, Hollywood ensconced, let's text him with him. He's like, I've never watched Slow Horses, but I just opened up Apple again for Severance and for MLS. So, hey, if you opened up Apple for MLS, cool on you. Good on you. You get to watch SDFC this weekend. You can check out Sasha Klestin, our guest yesterday on the NLS Countdown Show. But also while you're there, click play on season 1, episode 1 of Slow Horses and see what you think, because I think you're going to be deeply entertained. Media Melanie, tell me where, and tell the listeners, not just me. I mean, I already know. Tell the listeners where they can follow everything you do all week long.
Yes, you can follow me on the socials at Media Melanie. And then I would love if you'd hit that subscribe button on my YouTube channel at MediaMelanieTV.com.
Sounds great, Media Melanie. Always appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Bye, Melanie. Have fun at SDFC.
Thank you. I will. Maybe I'll see you there, Craig.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, but maybe you'll see me, but I don't think I'll see you. I'll be in the supporters section. So
look for a silver suit, Melanie.
Yeah, you can if you want.
Okay.
Maybe I'll be
all
there.
right. Well, there you go.
There she goes. TRM1 in the chat. This is the kind of thing. This is the thing about the world of streaming TV, all of the different apps that proliferated and the quote unquote golden age, right? Which just happened the last 8-10 years, where everybody was investing into their original programming and just shooting out one great series after another. And it's like, it's so easy to just have completely missed one altogether.
Oh yeah, there's so much.
Yeah, he says, I'm hooked on Brooklyn Nine-Nine right now because for years I couldn't make it past the first 3 episodes in season 1. So glad I finally did. Show came into its own. So many sitcoms are like that, where like the first 6 or 8 episodes, maybe even the first season is kind of, it's just all right. I mean, is it really that funny? I don't get it. And then like they find their stride. The writers figure out what's funny about the characters or what's funny about the interactions.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just like, this show is so good. I can't miss it any week. Parks and Rec was like that. The first season of Parks and Rec was just kind of okay. And then it got better. And then all of a sudden by the end, it's the best show, best comedy on TV. So
I felt that way about Schitt's Creek.
Yeah, no, I did too. I couldn't agree with you more.
First season kind of slow, but kind of funny, but then it got funnier.
Then they added in the boyfriend character to Daniel Levy, right? Then you got the depth of it. And they opened up the apothecary and like, you know, it's just, you need to move past just the cliches of rich people in broke town running motel, right? You all of a sudden you get into it and then it gets rolling. Couldn't agree with you more. And by the way, Schitt's Creek was great. That's SCHITT apostrophe S.
For the FC
C.
That's right.
And also for BRADEN, because I don't want an FOUL. So
well, I mean, that's the name of the show. So
right.
You don't get a foul for that. That's the dump button. That's different than a foul.
Fair enough. I mean, dump button can be a foul, or in some cases it's clean.
That's right. Biggest fan didn't call in, so.
Oh no.
Bummer.
Come on, man. Come on. Let's take a break. When we come back, it's time to wrap up the week. It's Ask Us Anything. Phone lines open now. 833-288-0973. 833-288-0973. Give us a ring. You have 15 minutes to call the show. If you call in the next 15 minutes, we're going to get you on the air. Just come ready with a question to ask Braden, Annie, and myself. Let's get this thing cooked and into the oven. It's Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Let's wrap up the week with a note of gratitude. It is an absolute privilege, pleasure, honor to be here each and every day. Being on the air with you guys, having the opportunity to chop it up from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. It is something that many people would like to do. Many people think that they could do it. They probably would be curious to find out what it feels like to wake up on the Wednesday morning after you've done it 2 days in a row and be like, oh, 4 more hours today? But wait, I said all the stuff I had to say.
Right.
Between yesterday and the day before, I said all the stuff I have to say. What about today? Yeah, you might be surprised by that. But we know. We absolutely know. I certainly know. There's plenty of people that would love to sit here and do the gig. I've worked a long time in this town to be able to be in front of this mic, and I do not take it for granted. And I know Annie doesn't. I know Braden doesn't either. So thank you to each and every one of you who have found our show over the last 14 months now, who have come to enjoy the show, all the folks who tell us that they keep it on at work the entire day.
Appreciate you.
Right. All the folks that we chat to through funny games, through Ask Us Anything, silly games, through Ask Us Anything, through everything else. Thank you so much. Couldn't do it without you, obviously, and deeply appreciate your support.
Thank you all very, very much.
Yes.
Yay.
Yay.
All right. Let's open up the lines. We got a couple regs out here. We still got time for you, though. 833-288-0973. Still have 6 full minutes to call the show to get in. 833-288-0973. Give us a ring as we hit the bumper. Again, that number is 833-288-0973. Let's start things off with our friend Magic in San Diego.
Oh,
Hi, Magic.
Magic. Long time no talk.
Yes.
Ask us anything, Magic.
Long time no talk. How are my three amigos doing?
Doing well.
Doing better now.
Great to hear from you.
Thanks, guys. Hey, I got I haven't been listening for a while. I've been busy, but I haven't heard anything about you guys have a star team located right here in your backyard. Nobody's talking about them. That's the San Diego Aztec softball team.
Oh,
Top
yeah.
25 in the country.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, that's a good call.
They were really good last year.
Yep. I think we were talking about it. Was it Braden? They beat Alabama, wasn't it?
Yeah, we talked about some of their big games that they have had. But yes, they're 23, ranked 23 in both polls, up to 18 in a different one. So they're doing a really good job. Won the other night on Tuesday against Cal State Bakersfield. Or sorry, they played California Baptist.
Got it.
As opposed to Cal Baptist. Don't call us Cal Baptist, call us California Baptist.
Okay, I just want to make sure you guys give them props. And I have one quick question for you guys.
Sure.
My friends always tease me. I'm always been lucky. I run into celebrities all the time, and I really ran into some really interesting people. Helen Mirren, Al Pacino, Magic Johnson.
Nice.
To name maybe 50 or 60 that I've met. Just lucky. So my question to you guys is, being in sports, have you ever run into somebody in your business that was so awe-inspiring that you couldn't talk, that you didn't know what to do?
Oh, wow.
I'm sure a handful of times.
That's a great question.
To remember off the top of my
I
head.
can't remember off the top of my head either.
I think the first time you're in one of those clubhouses or locker rooms, first ever time is the time you could be off, like starstruck. And then after the first time, it's all right, this is a job now.
Thought it was really cool to meet Lance Allworth and Dan Fouts back
That's
in the day.
pretty cool.
I'll give you one. One time, it wasn't that long ago. It was just a few years ago, because I was working at the formerly Mighty station that disappeared. We both worked there. But you know, that low row in the press box where they used to always sit, that first row. And
That's where we sit now.
Right, which is where we sit now. So in other words, that row. Sat down, Eddie Murray was sitting next to me.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, 3,000 hits, 500 homers, switch hitter.
Yeah, that's
you
cool.
know, and I literally did get to talk to Eddie Murray for like an hour and a half or something. Like just, you know, him sitting there and just watching the game and just this and that, you know, taking that picture and just going, man, this is literally one of the best players in the last 50 years.
I got to interview Bill Walton one time. That was kind of cool.
Yeah, I got to interview Bill too. Yeah, Bill's a treat. He was a treat. R.I.P.
So probably that, I guess.
I mean, just
I've met a lot of cool. I've met so many cool people where you have to be stoic about it, right? on some of these remotes and some of these, Army Navy trips that we went on. And, I remember met General Milley at the Army Navy game.
Wow.
And there's a lot of big time non-sports people at the Army Navy game. I mean,
it's pretty real.
Mark
Milley,
the department or the Secretary of the Navy was on the show. So I shook his hand and plus everybody at the Army Navy, all the Navy people, the Army Navy game always coming to talk to our station because huge Navy town. So met a lot of high ranking officers in the Navy, which has been pretty cool too. So from a non-athlete standpoint, a lot of important people that make important decisions I've gotten to meet and just pretend oh yeah, hey, how you doing, Frank?
Let's welcome back Martin and Santee. Hello, Martin. Ask us anything.
Good afternoon, all. Question: as far as the interviews with the Padres, they all seem frankly amazing. I mean, is it team speak, or is it Preller bringing this type of player personality into the team? You've done plenty of interviews and you were just speaking to that. So kind of curious because they all sound just so frankly amazing that they're in it for the sport, for the team, for each other. And is it a truism? Is it a Prellerism? Is it just they're wanting to win? And just curious your take on something like that, because hearing them this week truly to an individual has been amazing.
Great stuff, Martin. Good call.
I think it's a little bit of all of it. I think it's the relaxed nature of spring training. I think it's the type of player that they went after. And also when you sign some of these $1 million deals, which is what a lot of them have, those are guys who are, they've been humbled. They are humble. They're fighting. They're not necessarily the superstars that kind of, not that those guys aren't great too, but that they've had to scrap and grind. So a lot of times they're more, I guess, willing to tell their stories and talk a little bit more. But even the superstars were great. So I think it's honestly, too, I think it's just the fact that they're together for another year.
Yes.
And they've got the coaching staff again and the same core group. And so I think they're a lot more comfortable.
I think AJ has definitely made some decisions along the way that it's not like, oh, I'm going to pick the less talented player because I think they're better in the clubhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's something he's learned about over the course of his GM career. Because I think he completely ignored that at the beginning of his GM career. And I think he's learned it the hard way. But I also, if we're going to give people credit, I think you got to give Mike Schilt some credit.
Absolutely.
He's helped this culture flourish either by what he's done or also what he's not done along the way. I think he's been very smart in that aspect. Here's Cameron in San Marcos. Hi, Cameron. Thanks for calling. Ask us anything.
Hey guys, just thinking as spring training is getting going, wondering if you guys have any goals for the season in relation to the Padres season.
Like what we want the Padres to do?
Yeah, or like what to have a certain amount of talk shows we're gonna do.
Are we gonna hear Braden and Scraby as like fill-ins for the announcing on radio?
Wow.
Oh wow!
Are there any new segments coming up, or I don't know.
It's a good question. It's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
We all got to have all parts of the organization, the media, the fans. We all got to have our goals. So I'm just kind of wondering.
No, I like that.
If you guys had anything, and I'll give you a month to think about it.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Well, that's on opening day.
Let's get through spring training, right, and develop our goals,
training.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think that's a great point.
No, it is absolutely.
If you're not getting better, you're getting worse.
That's right.
Yeah, we devote the second hour of the show every single day to nothing but Padres. And, in season, as you darn well know, most of the first and the fourth hour are going to be that as well. So our goal is just to keep you entertained, informed, balanced, with your feet on the ground, not spinning off, one direction or the other as the ups and downs of a big league season get to you. Here's Steve in San Diego. Hi, Steve. Welcome to the program. Ask us anything.
Hello. How are you doing?
We're well.
Thank you.
Question for you. What information do you have about the monies that are pooled and shared by the Major League Baseball teams? My understanding is out of the gate, they all get like $245 million. Is that correct?
I don't want to, in the middle of a call segment, try and pull up numbers very specifically, but Steve, I would say on a broader sense that MLB does have a pool to which all of the teams that are designated as payees,
yes,
right, or payers, they all put into that. Every team has to put in 38% of their local television deal. There are national deals that are all obviously roundly shared, and that revenue sharing system does distribute by dollars more money to their individual clubs than the NFL does to their individual clubs.
Yeah, and even just we were talking about the ESPN MLB breakup and how that was a $550 million deal a year, and each team gets $18 million annually. So they don't have that. They're probably going to strike another deal, and who knows if it'll be that kind of number. But they do share things for sure. But the Padres are a payee. They expect to be a payee, so they're not necessarily benefiting like, say, a Pirates would be.
No, exactly.
Right.
And teams that go over the competitive balance tax lose that ability to receive the revenue sharing money. It's one of the reasons why you don't want to just go a little bit over.
Yeah.
It's what we always talked about. You either stay
Make
under
it worth it,
or you go all the way to the edge of the second apron.
Mhm.
And that's what the Padres have done. I hope that was helpful in some small way, Steve. To the other folks online, sorry we couldn't get to you yet, but thank you so much for calling in, and please give us a try again when we're back on Monday, which we will be back on Monday with another 4 hours of Annie and Elsten. For Annie Howe.